What's good, guys? What's going on? Welcome to this episode of Butcher's Block and Patriots Talk. And this is going to be what we've learned through weeks 1 through 7. Some talking points on what we've observed and basically what maybe some we're going to throw in some predictions on how we think the season's going to go. Going forward, but this is basically what we've learned through the first 7 weeks of the season. So let's get going. I have a special guest with me today, JD from runboys.com. What's up, my guy?
How's it going, buddy? It's always good to hang out with you, Bobby, and watch sports and all that stuff. Oh yeah.
Hey, what's up, Nitro? What's going on? So let's jump right into this. So this is going to be basically what I've learned or what we've learned through the first 7 weeks of the NFL season. So I'm going to start off, and I've learned that the Browns have severely disappointed me in the expectations that they were or that people had for them. They have severely underperformed and disappointed. With the talent that they've acquired in the offseason, you know, they put Odell Beckham on the other side of Landry to, hopefully, create, mismatched nightmares for people. And then, you have a big body tight end like Njoku that should be able to, with those three on the field, it's, that was supposed to be a matchup nightmare, with Njoku, Landry, and Beckham on the field. And then you have guys like Higgins in the slot. You can, if you go 4 or 5 wide with those guys on the field, it was supposed to be matchup nightmares. And Baker, having the year that he had last year, they put them at 11 or 12 wins, JD, at the beginning of this, before the season
everybody
started.
did. Everybody did.
The expectations were way high. So what I've learned is that the Browns have severely disappointed me and underperformed. I don't know what's going on over there in Cleveland, but so what do you got?
Well, I have a few things. John Dorsey, he made the classic mistake. He made the classic mistake that a lot of GMs make, and that's that you that you care more about your skill positions than you do about your offensive and defensive line. Not that the defensive line of the Browns is bad, but the offensive line clearly deteriorated over last season, and they lost a few guys, and it just isn't the same. It looks nothing like. Excuse me, I got a burping thing, but it looks nothing like it did last year. It doesn't look nearly as good as it did last year, and it looks like crap, honestly. And when you focus on giving a bunch of people, or giving your quarterback rather, a bunch of weapons, and not just protecting him and giving him time, especially when he's a small accurate quarterback rather than like a gunslinger, somebody like Patrick Mahomes who can just whiz it down the field. He's a guy who's kind of his ball comes a little bit slower than Mahomes or Rodgers or somebody like that. So you're going to need to give him some time. And he just doesn't have mobility. He runs a 4.8. Like I ran a 4.8 in high school. So like he's definitely not an elite athlete. And that's what I learned about Baker Mayfield, that he needs a team around him. He could win a Super Bowl. He's a guy who could win a Super Bowl, but he needs a team around him. Right now he's 5 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. And his mentality is just like, it's everybody else's fault but mine. Like last week he was blaming the refs. It's stupid.
No, yeah, he hit the classic sophomore slump, that wall. He hit that wall.
Classic one.
Where teams had film on him now, teams got film on him, and it's the NFL, man. It is the NFL.
Talk shit, get hit.
Yeah, it's the classic thing of like they don't say sophomore slump for a reason. Like everybody got so Colin Kaepernick when he first came into the league was phenomenal. That year that they made it to the Super Bowl, he had an incredible year. But once those coordinators get that footage on how to defend him and how to stop him, look at from the next season, from that season on. Look at that.
Yeah, well, I mean, once Greg Roman left, Kaepernick was a nothing. He was just a regular guy, just another quarterback.
So what do you got? What's
the Browns? I want to say one more thing for the Browns. I called this, by the way. I just want to say I called this.
You did. You wrote that article. You wrote that article at the beginning of the season. You did.
I said that. I didn't predict the offensive line. That's not what I predicted. The offensive line is new. That's like surprising to me. But I did predict that they would have struggles because they got rid of a coach who was 7-2, who had established a culture. The interim coach, Greg Williams, he came in. He was probably one of the most successful interim coaches in the history of football because he turned a team that was 0-16 and 1-15 to 7-2 under him. 7-2. And then you said, all right, you know what? Screw that guy. You got rid of him.
No, I know. Williams did well. Williams did well with Cleveland.
That blew my mind. I was like, can you guys take a win can you guys just take the win? I mean, geez. But anyway, that's the last thing I want to say about the Browns because they're the Browns. They're the Browns, like classic Browns.
And this weekend, when they come into Foxborough, they're in trouble. They're in trouble. Baker's second guessing himself all the time. You see it. He's trying to force the football into windows that you should just throw. Most of those passes that he's trying to force the ball into, JD, throw it 10 rows into the stands and give somebody a souvenir and just move on to the next down.
I agree. Yeah, a lot. He's not like I was saying. He doesn't have that quick release like he thinks he has. He thinks he's like Rodgers, and he's really, I don't know. Kyle Orton with a better arm.
To me, it's a lot of it's second guessing. It's just second guessing. Like when you make a read, like like he was confident last year with Williams. He was confident in where he was throwing. Mm-hmm. He was confident that he could get the ball there in time. The confidence is just gone.
And that was all Freddie Kitchens' job last year was just to get Baker ready, to get him prepared, to get him thinking about like what's the next play. Now Freddie's job is to keep everyone happy, all 55 guys on the roster, to keep everyone happy, and he can't worry about Baker as much. Whereas Greg Roman, he got everyone ready just like that. He was a disciplined guy. You need a disciplinarian like Belichick. And speaking of the Patriots, talk about something I noticed. They weren't lying when they said last year that they would be better this year. They were not lying. The defense is ridiculous. The Patriots defense.
Dude, they're putting up cartoon. They have, get this, right? They have through seven games, they have 18 interceptions. 18.
That's ridiculous.
And they're going to get 2 more this weekend.
Their fantasy numbers, my friend has them in fantasy. I'm pretty sure their fantasy numbers are like the greatest of all time.
They were I saw a stat the other day. The Patriots defense is putting up the same numbers as like a tight end 1 or like an RB or like a running back 2. Like
they're 17 points a game.
Yeah, it's insane. They're averaging 2 interceptions and a fumble a game.
Yeah.
That's what they're averaging.
And a fumble. That's just crazy.
They're
unbelievable.
We'll go back to you. What's something else, man?
Something else. Well, I mean, yeah, Belichick. I mean, besides Belichick and just him calling his shot, saying, "Oh, we'll be back." I mean, all that stuff. He's that's amazing. But besides that, Deshaun Watson is proving that he's still that accurate laser passer that we love, that we come to see. Like the problem with them has always been, what weapons do they have besides Hopkins? Now they have a few. They have Duke Johnson. They have a few others. And also the other question was, can they protect him? And so far we've seen that they can't necessarily protect him, but he doesn't necessarily need them to protect him all the time. It depends on who they're facing. Sometimes he gets outmatched, but sometimes he just, he gets into a groove. I feel like he's a groove type of quarterback. There's a lot of those guys where they get into a groove and then all of a sudden, bam, like every throw they have after that is a laser. So I've definitely seen Watson. He's impressive.
Yeah, no, it seems like He was on my list as well. Deshaun Watson's proving that he can do what Russell Wilson can do in Seattle without an offensive line, because he's still managing to get it done. Even the games that they've lost.
People forget they won their division last year too. It's crazy.
Even with he's on, Deshaun was on my list too. He's getting it done without any offensive line help whatsoever. None. If the Texans had an offensive line, they would be scary. They would. Because they would actually be able, because Carlos Hyde is not a bad running back, and neither is Duke Johnson.
Yeah, no, both of them can contribute to the offense for sure. There was talk about trading Hopkins, but I don't see the point in that. I read an article about that. I just don't see the reason to do that.
I don't think they would trade away their biggest offensive weapon. I think that would be stupid.
I think they're going to go.
If anything, they should give one of the running backs away, because Hyde can catch footballs out of the backfield, And I like Hyde better than I like Carlos Hyde better than Johnson. I would trade Johnson away. There's plenty of teams that need a scat back like that.
Yeah. Duke Johnson would fit in a lot of places. I was gonna say another thing that I find interesting. I don't know if it's something I've noticed so far, but I've read that the Panthers are trying to get rid of Cam Newton. Where would you see him anywhere? Cam Newton coming back this season at all?
I'm going to make a bold prediction right here. I'm going to make a real bold prediction, right? If the Panthers beat the Niners, they trade Newton. And they will, if the Panthers beat the Niners, they will roll with Allen for the rest of the season and going forward, and they will trade Newton.
That would be awesome. I'd like to see. Honestly, we need a new quarterback. The Bears need a new quarterback. I want Teddy Bridgewater, but I'd settle for Newton. Hey, what's up, Robbie? What's up, WTF Mike, Nitro, BKB, all the homies.
What's good? Oh yeah, Rum Fam up in here.
Hell yeah.
It's that's an interesting. That's once again that was on. It's a real. That's an interesting topic, because there's teams out there that could benefit with Newton
or Bridgewater.
Here's the thing: would you take Newton over Trubisky? Because yes. I would take a banged up Cam Newton over Trubisky.
Me too. Because at least Newton can get hot and start fucking shit up. He has bad games, but Trubisky, I don't know what the hell I'm getting from him at all. I don't know who he is.
What's up, Bosco? What's going on, man? Talking a little football. Season in review so far at the halfway point. What up, Deuce?
What up?
So that's a real interesting one, because there are definitely teams out there that could benefit from that. Even though he's hurt, just the football knowledge alone. And the fact that he can make things happen with his legs is worth it. It's at least worth a look.
Well, I wonder how bad the foot injury is. That's really the question. How bad is it? Because it's affecting his throwing, and it has for a while. He said, he even said this whenever he was sitting down on YouTube. He's like, well, for a while I just ignored it, but clearly that's hurting my team, so that's why I'm sitting out. So it's like, is that something that's going to be there for a long time, like a year? Then I don't want Newton, if that's the case. Because
you guys need to find out. You know what you guys need to find out? You need to find out if it's a Liz Frank or not. Because if it's a Liz Frank, you can.
That's what they said.
Then he needs to get that surgery and fix that, because that's a fixable injury. Stop sitting around. Hey Zeus, what's up?
He thinks he can rest up and then power back and then go to the Super Bowl with the Panthers, but that's not how it's going to work. No. A Liz Frank is a fixable injury though. Get the surgery. Stop putting it off. Get the surgery. Get it fixed, and then get back on the field. it really stinks. It really stinks, definitely, for him. But talking about somebody who I'd want on the Bears, Teddy Bridgewater is a guy. He just beat our ass, and he's been keeping the Saints relevant and everything. Honestly, man,
JD, who would have thought 5-1?
Not me, dude. Not me. Because I like Teddy Bridgewater, always have with the Vikings. I thought he was good, but I never thought he was going to be that good. I thought he was going to be like an average. Like, he was above average. He made some throws that were above average, in my opinion. Down the field, he looked like a real starter in the league that he could take over. We talked about it a few weeks ago. It actually got quite a few clicks. Like, is he a real starter? I don't know.
Put it this way. He's a backup that's not going to hurt you. You know, it's not going to cost. He's a guy, he might win you a game, with some key throws and some key points, but he's not going to lose you one either. Which, I mean, if you have like a suitable backup like that, even if like a guy like put him on the Packers for a year, wait out Aaron Rodgers,
I mean,
let him wait Aaron Rodgers out because he's a game manager. It's one of those points where if a team is looking for a suitable backup.
But what if the Bears could play as good as they did last year, but have Teddy Bridgewater? Like, have him play as well as he played with the Saints. Come over to the Bears, play with us. I don't know. Can we make the playoffs? That's the question.
Here's a question for you: Is Bridgewater better than Trubisky?
Yes. I think that's clear.
I think Bridgewater doesn't make the stupid mistakes. Like here's the thing with Mitch. When there's 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter, you can count on him to throw an interception because he's going to force the football in a spot that he should just throw the damn thing out of bounds. I can't tell you how much it happens all the time. It happens all the time with these immature quarterbacks that don't understand the spot. You're almost better off taking a sack than taking an interception. Like
Trubisky, I've never seen so many failed checkdowns from a quarterback. Like he fails every time, or not every time he has a check down, but like 2/3 of his checkdowns this year, last year, not so much, but this year he's failed. Like, just pass it 5 yards and the guy will run. Nope, can't do it. I'm just going to take the sack or throw an interception. Like, he's awful. Can't stand it. Nitro says Cousins 23 for 26. You like that?
Thanks for sharing the stream, Zeus. Much appreciated. Man, it's so another thing that has surprised me this year so far. I've always said good teams do what needs to be done to get wins, and it doesn't matter whether you win by an inch or a mile. You should never take a win for granted because any given Sunday, man. So
true.
So another thing that's surprised me and that I've learned is San Fran's defense is legit this year.
I was just about to say, San Fran is real.
San Fran is for real.
They're not fucking around. They're coming.
They took out the Rams convincingly, and it's not like the Rams don't have weapons. They have weapons. Robert Woods and Cooks are two very, very good receivers, and so is Cooper Kupp, and they beat that team convincingly, convincingly. And especially if we're talking like for real, San Fran's defensive line is legit.
Yeah,
that D line is legit.
He's too fast and too strong for most of these tight ends, and he's too quick for most of these linemen. So he's just a mismatch nightmare, just like Mack, just like Watt, a lot of the best defensive ends in the game. And he's only a rookie. That's, oh my God, it's going to be disgusting then going forward.
Like Bosa's going to have. I watched some footage over the last 2 games of him on a straight bull rush. How can he's so, for his size, he's so fast.
Yeah,
he's
and
so
fast. So fast for his. Yeah, exactly. Nobody thinks that people like that can move at that speed, and then you look at Khalil Mack and Bosa, and you're like, whoa, it's nuts. But
Mack's another one. For as big as that guy is, you figure he wouldn't like that guy going from side to side on the field. I mean, how many times have you seen him run screenplays down and tackle people for a loss, and he's on the opposite hash mark? To move that
crazy.
fast.
He'll like come back and reach in and tackle him, and he's that fast. He'll get behind you, man.
So what else, man? What else? What else you got?
I've realized that Christian McCaffrey is not just a average, scat back. He's something real. He's like an all around top 3 running back in the league. So that's impressive. Also, Dalvin Cook proved that he can come back from his ACL. Wasn't it an ACL? I think ACL nitro. Yeah. You'll have to confirm that for me. I think he's a Vikings fan, right? Anyway.
No, Nitro's Giants.
Oh, okay.
Nitro is
Vikings
Giants.
fan. QC.
QC is the Vikings.
QC is the Vikings fan. Yeah, that's right. They're a real team if Kirk Cousins cannot suck. So
that team, it's funny because that team will go as far as Cousins takes them.
Yes. 150%.
If you put a legitimate quarterback on that team with weapons like Thielen, like Diggs, like Cook.
Oh, Brady would win a touchdown.
Here's the thing, right? A big body tight end like Rudolph, who has a pretty decent wingspan and who can the guy's a tank. You get him the ball in open space and he can work.
He's a big boy.
And he can catch too. Like he's got pretty good hands. Like if you there's multiple teams in this league. If you put decent quarterbacks on the Bears and on the Vikings, scary good. Good.
It's weird how there was a quarterback surplus a few years ago, and now there's a quarterback shortage again.
Oh, it's
just like that.
It's a desert.
Just like that.
Yeah.
That's how it happens, man. It's the inconsistency, like you were talking about earlier. It's the inconsistency of the league. Like Baker Mayfield, one year he looks like, oh man, he's going to be the next whatever, and then this year people got film on him, like you said. The defenders just play twice as hard on him because he's talking all this shit. All this extra stuff that takes people down. So I mean, Baker's obviously the story of the season. I think just the fact that so many people were so high on him. I was high on him. And I'm still kind of I still think he can be successful, but it's eye-opening. Like going from one of the most accurate young quarterbacks in the league to can he be accurate is that's eye-opening.
I still think he can do well. I still I'm not giving up on him.
Yeah, me neither.
I just think he's in a. I just think it's not. I don't think Kitchens was the guy or is the guy.
I don't either. He was a good offensive coordinator, but that was his first time doing that. See, that's the crazy thing about this. This is what John Dorsey, just Boswell says. I think Cam might land in the Bears. I want to talk about that in a second. But John Dorsey, like I was saying earlier, man, he made the classic mistake. He focused on, okay, what does the quarterback want? I want a new receiver. I want this. And then he didn't realize, hey, I need to shut this off.
Instead of what the team needs.
And have a good coach. And he didn't care about that. So.
And here, dude, it's crazy how they got rid of Zeitler, right? And Zeitler's a really good guard, really good. They got rid of him. They made that move. And the interior of the line collapsed. It collapsed without him there.
It's a unit,
So clearly, because if you go watch the footage, right? Mm-hmm. And it's not only is it Baker Mayfield, it's all the good quarterbacks. It's Brady, it's Breeze, it's Rodgers, it's it's even Russell. You throw Russell Wilson in there too. It's any of the top quarterbacks. they hate, and I mean hate. Like I know this for a fact because Brady's even been he's even admitted it. He hates pressure up the middle, A and B gap on either side of the center. When that pressure comes right up the middle, they have quarterbacks that don't move, like that don't shuffle well.
Pocket, yeah,
and that don't move well in the pocket. They crumble. Brady, if you get pressure straight up the middle in his face, he can't slide. He can't step up. He can't step up into the pocket as if pressure was coming around the ends. Brady takes 2 steps forward into the pocket, and the defensive ends run right by him. You know what I mean? So he's fine. But when it's coming right in his face, when the
he
pressure
is
directly in front of him, it's when that's how you beat those good teams. That's how you beat the Packers. That's how you're going to beat the Saints. That's how you're going to beat the Patriots. That's how you beat those good quarterbacks.
But yeah, I agree. That's the only way you beat them. And when you take away Baker, a young guy, that's like taking away a tight end that somebody's grown close to. Like you're taking away a safety blanket. So now every time Baker gets the ball, he's worried that they're going to rush the middle of the gap, and he's just going to get exposed. He can't scramble like Kyler Murray. See, Kyler Murray, people were – that's
improvising with his legs. Murray's done well.
He can do it. He can do that thing. I don't know if I like his coach yet, and I don't know if I like the team. But Murray does the pressure thing really well. He does oh crap, I have no line. All right, half a second and I'm screwed. All right, I'm gonna run over here. I'm gonna run over here. I'm gonna run over here. All right, I'm gonna throw it. He makes his own time. So
he's definitely learning too. Like you can see, new coach, new quarterback, new system, everybody learning it. They do seem to be making small improvements every week, whether it might not be in the same area, every week, but the Cardinals do seem to be making small improvements. Small. And I mean like, okay, one week the left guard will play well, the next week the right guard, it's small little improvements here and there. So they're definitely learning.
It helps to have Larry Fitzgerald there, I'm sure. Just for the support. But just Boswell says, I think Cam might land in the Bears. I want to picture
about that because that is definitely that's been talked about quite a few times.
I want to picture that for a second because the reason why I think it could work is because Matt Nagy doesn't even like to go under center at all, and like Cam Newton is a guy who can throw. He can throw like short passes and long range passes. And that's what they're asking Trubisky to do. So if you ask Cam Newton to do the same amount that you asked Trubisky to do, Cam Newton will do it way better than Trubisky does it. Like that's for damn sure. But like you said earlier, I don't know about that injury. So.
Hey, later Nitro. Thanks for stopping in, man.
Hell yeah. Thanks for stopping in, my brother. Appreciate you. Hell yeah. Retweeting this stuff right here.
Now, here's a question, JD.
Sure.
What do you who gets fired first? Who in your opinion,
this will be fun.
Who gets fired first? Is it I'm going to give you I'll give you 3. I'll give you 3. 3 coaches, okay?
Okay.
Dan Quinn.
Okay.
Right? Dan Quinn. Pat Shurmur. Or God, I can't think of the last. Hold on. Give me a sec. Dan Quinn, Pat Shurmur, or oh my God, I just had this. Hold on.
All good.
All right, well then let's go with those 2 then. I can't.
Dan Quinn or Pat Shurmur?
Dan Quinn or Shurmur? Which one goes?
Gets it first. Well, here's why I think it's Quinn, and it's not necessarily fair to Quinn, but Shurmur's going to get more time because he's got a young team, young quarterback, a young system. He's going to get like 5 years probably. So
Jason Garrett. I'm sorry, Jason Garrett. Dan Quinn, Jason Garrett, Pat Shermer.
Oh, okay. Jason Garrett. Okay.
That's what it was.
I think Jason Garrett goes first.
Okay.
Jerry Jones can talk about how he loves Jason Garrett all he wants, but at the end of the day, you got to win. And if he's 8-8 again, or whatever he was last year, I think he was like 9-7 or something like that. If they're not in the playoffs this year, if they don't win a playoff game this year, there's a chance. If they don't win if they're in the playoffs this year, there's a chance he goes. But if they don't, okay, I'm sorry. Let me say that again. If they win a playoff game, he will not be fired, period. If they make it to the playoffs, he still might be fired. But if they don't make it to the playoffs, I think it's like literally an 80% chance he gets fired. I really do. And that's just because he's given him like 7 years now or more. It's been longer, hasn't it? It's been a while. When was Wade Phillips even the coach? I'm going to look that up. God, it's been a bit. Wade Phillips has been all over. Hold on. Jason Garrett.
Hold on a second. Let me look something. I want to see who does Dallas play this weekend?
Dallas play since 2011. He's had 8 years to do it.
So they're on a bye. Dallas is on a bye, right?
Okay, yeah, they're on a bye.
Dallas is on a bye this week. So let's go to week 9, because if you get fired on a bye, you know you suck.
I don't think we get fired during the season. If Dan Quinn, I think Dan Quinn actually will be the first. Never mind. Let me change my answer, because the reason why I talked about Shermer, he'll have time, so he'll be fine. Jason Garrett, he might, if he doesn't make the playoffs, he might get fired. I think 80% chance he gets fired. But if Dan Quinn doesn't bring this team to a winning record, he's fired. Like soon. Let me see.
I'm gonna here's right. So I'm gonna if the Falcons lose to the Seahawks, Quinn's getting fired.
I mean, dude, yeah, they give up 53 points in 37. They give up 53 points to the Texans in 30. Dan Quinn is supposed to be a defensive coach. They lost to the Cardinals 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So Bosco said
not gonna work.
said Garrett has been the coach for 10 years.
It says 2011. It feels like 10 years. He's been a coach on the staff for 10 years, according to this.
Yeah, a coach on the staff for 10 years.
Yep, he's been on the staff for more than, it's been, 2007.
Let's focus on Quinn or Garrett. Who gets it? Let's focus on Quinn or Garrett. Who gets it first?
I think Quinn, because actually, I don't know. He did make the Super Bowl recently, but man, you're getting blown out and you're the defensive coach. And also, here's the condemning thing about Garrett. Here's the ultimate just like stamp, you suck. Or not Garrett, Quinn, is that when Kyle Shanahan left, they just sucked. You notice that? So like They're great, they're in the Super Bowl, Kyle Shanahan leaves, you suck.
They're done. Yeah, they're cooked.
They're done.
Yeah.
So that's a stamp. That tells me something.
But see, and here's the thing. If the Giants, so the Giants are playing the Cowboys on Monday night, November 4th. So not this Monday, next Monday, right? Right?
Yeah.
If the Giants beat the Cowboys, I think the backlash alone from Cowboy fans is going to get Garrett fired. So this game coming out of the bye for the Cowboys is a must win. At least for Garrett. For Garrett, it's a must win. He loses this game.
It's a big game.
He loses this game and he's done. He's toast.
I don't know if he's done in week 8, but if you lose to the Giants, yeah, I mean, I'm with you. If you lose to didn't they beat the Giants in the first game?
They're going to New York too, so that they got to fly across the country. They got to fly across the country, and it's a Monday night game. It's an 8:15 game.
Just Boswell says Jerry likes Lincoln being Lincoln Riley, but Lincoln is locked in, which requires a buyout if he goes to the NFL. Jerry does have deep pockets. See, that's what I'm talking about.
He would. Jerry Jones would do that. He would.
He would definitely do that. There's no question. He doesn't give a shit about money. He just wants to win a Super Bowl. So whatever it would take. I'm
telling you, if the Giants win that game, for some miracle, if they pull it off and win that game,
you think he's gone just week 8 in the middle of the season?
Think of the backlash. Think of how
But what if you go undefeated after that?
The Dallas media would eat him alive.
So what would you? So you fire him and make an interim head coach and just but
finish the
you
season.
Fire him, you're basically saying we're not going to make the Super Bowl. They're 4-3. Not that that's amazing, but it's something. They're 4-3 right now. So if they lose to the Giants, they'll be 4-4. They could still go 12-4 in the season. Not that they probably will, but I mean, I'm saying wait until week 15, you lose to the Redskins or something. Hold on, let me see.
It could happen. There's probably a 30 or 40% chance it happens, but it could happen.
Look at this schedule right now.
I was just gonna say, look at this.
Last game is the Redskins. So if you lost to the Redskins in the last game, gone.
so if let's say for some miracle the Giants beat them, right? They're 4-4. Vikings got momentum. That's going to be a good game, right?
Yeah.
The Lions have a legitimate defense. That's going to be a good game.
They do have a legitimate defense, you talk about takeaways. That's surprising. That surprised me. That
and then after Detroit, we're gonna whoop their ass at. Then they got to go to the Bills and play another good defense. Then they got to play Chicago after that. Their D, Chicago's D is what Chicago's D it is what it is.
We can still hold you to 13.
The Rams, bro. Their schedule is not easy.
It's a rough schedule.
That's a rough stretch right there. After the Giants, it goes Vikings, Lions, Patriots, Bills, and Bears and Rams.
I'm predicting they win against the Giants, lose against the Vikings, lose against the Lions. That's 6-5, and then they lose against the Patriots 6-6. And then they lose against the Bills 6-7, and then they win against the Bears. Probably
beat the Rams.
On if the Bears can put it together.
They'll probably beat the Rams because the Rams, I think, have taken a big step backwards.
So that's 8-7, or
and I think they'll beat the Eagles.
8-6, yeah, and then they'll beat the Eagles. So 9-6, and then if they got to beat the Redskins probably to win the division, I would imagine. So,
but that's what I mean. You're going to finish 10-6. You're getting fired.
You think you get fired if you finish as 10-6?
He's getting fired. Yes.
Damn. Okay, well, I kind of agree. If they don't win a playoff game, he might get fired.
Let's talk about Jimmy G and the Niners.
Jimmy G
I have said this for years, right? I've said this for years. Jimmy G and the Niners. And just about any team. Good teams find ways to win. It doesn't matter how you do it. Offense, defense, special teams. They find ways to win.
This is true.
Points can come from anywhere, JD. Points can come from anywhere. A pick six puts you up 7-0 early, and then you stop them and you kick a field goal, you're up 10. I'm telling you, good teams find ways to win. They just do. Even when their offensive, when their units aren't playing well, they find ways to win games.
They won 9-0 against the Redskins.
Against the Redskins in horrible weather. That was I can't imagine playing a game like that. That's an atrocious. That is not a way to play. That's a ridiculous conditions. Yeah. And they found a way to win. To me, the Niners are a legitimate team. They're starting to buy in and believe in Shanahan. The team is starting to buy in to the direction in which it's going. And Shanahan, we know Shanahan in that Super Bowl in the first half was whooping the Patriots' ass.
Yeah.
The first half of that Super Bowl, Shanahan was whooping the Patriots' ass. It was not even
close it. The defense couldn't just shut it down, the second half. So, and that's on Dan Quinn. That's the thing. They chose wrong. If you're the Falcons, you look back and you say, man, maybe I should have made Kyle Shanahan the head coach instead of Dan Quinn. So, hey, what's up, everybody? We got Crazy Zach and Manzi.
what's up?
What's good?
So they're another team. So here's a question for you. If it comes, can the Niners beat teams like Seattle? Can they beat a team like Seattle? Can they beat a team like Green Bay? Can they beat a team like Dallas because those are the teams that are going to play in the playoffs? Can they beat those teams? Possibly, if they have to play on the road. It doesn't look like they're going to have to play on the road right now.
They're facing the Panthers this week, which will be a tough test.
Put it this way, if the Packers have to go through Green Bay to get to the Super Bowl,
mm-hmm.
Can they do it? Can they go to Lambeau and beat them in Lambeau?
I don't know. I don't know about that because
that's the scenario that they're probably going to be facing.
I don't know if they can do that because one, they're a California team. Two, the Packers are, as long as Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, I see the Packers going all the way to the Super Bowl because they've gained something that they lost for like 5 years, rhythm. They have rhythm now, and he has chemistry with his receivers, which he hasn't had since
and a healthy and a 100% healthy Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, and you have 100% healthy Aaron Rodgers who's happy. He's happy. The defense is finally playing well. So as a petrified Bears fan, I'm saying, you know what? They're probably going 14-2. Well, I don't know. We'll see. They have a long stretch and they face the Niners in 4 weeks. So they face the Niners in 4 weeks. Who will win that game? That'll be a preview probably of the playoffs, like you said. Can the Niners beat the Packers? That's the real question.
This is what I asked you. Can the Niners go into Lambeau in a divisional or conference playoff situation and beat them?
No, because Rodgers has been close like 100 times. And he's not going to give this up.
Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Oh, you're fine. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I was going to say Rodgers. He's been this close. He's been this close like 7 times now, and every time it was the fault of somebody else. The only time it wasn't the fault of somebody else is when he threw a pick 6 to the Cardinals. I remember in like 2014. That was his fault. But literally every other game has been somebody else's fault since then in the playoffs. So Rodgers is going to come out here with this dominant team, and probably if he's in the playoffs today, he's going to go ham.
Here's San Fran might be able to pull this off, right? Green Bay's defense is suspect. They're up and down. They're the one thing that San Fran has been able to count on this year. Their D's been pretty good, pretty consistent. You know what I mean?
Very true.
Their defense has been very consistent through the season. Green Bay's D has gone like this. They're all over the place. They're good. They're not good. They're good. They're not. Like the one game, the defensive line is good and the secondary is terrible. Next game, the secondary's out of this world, and the D line can't get any pressure. The one thing that San Fran's been able to count on this year is their D has played phenomenal all year.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
And the Packers schedule goes like this, JD, right? They play the Chiefs coming up, right?
Yep.
And they play the Chargers, the Panthers, the Niners, the Giants, the Redskins, the Bears, Vikings, and Lions. That's a relatively easy schedule. I mean, outside of the Niners, outside the Niners and outside the Niners, Panthers, and Vikings, they should win those games.
Yeah,
they should win the rest of those games.
The Packers. I don't see why they. The only thing is about that. The only thing I'll say about that is will that make them better or worse? Like that's the question. That's what we have to see down the stretch. Will that make them better? Will facing bad teams, because they have a third place schedule. So they're considered a bad team going into this season, but obviously they're not. So,
it's like I said, man, there's a lot of factors, but to me, the Niners, if they're going, their track to the Super Bowl is going to go through, it's going to go through either Green Bay, Dallas, or Seattle.
mm-hmm.
They're going to have to face one of those, one out of the three of those, or even you throw in the Saints. Throw the Saints in. So it's going to be Seattle, Dallas, Green Bay, or New Orleans. And all three of those, all four of those stadiums, right? Like three of those, the Superdome. Yeah, the Superdome's ridiculous, right? Yeah. Down in Louisiana, that's insane. Dallas's home field their home field advantage is ridiculous too. Seattle's is out of this. Like, come on, man! Like that's if they beat any one of those teams in their home on their home turf, that's saying something about the Niners. Like, let's say either that or let's say they even lose by 3. If they battle those teams to the end, that team's on the come up, man.
Defenses do win championships. I just don't trust Garoppolo like other people do. I mean, he's 7-6. He's 7-6 this year. I mean, he's good, but he's not a superstar or anything like that. One
thing I've learned about quarterbacks in this league is you have to give them multiple years, 2 to 3 years, to really get a feel.
Isn't this his 5th?
No, I mean Garoppolo, like full seasons as a starter.
I gotcha.
Full seasons as a starter. You got to give them. I'm talking 3 years to really see what because the his first year
record is good.
Here's why I say 3 or 4 years. The first year they burst onto the scene, flash in the pan kind of deal. People don't have film on them. It's tough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Second year they have film. Then they can break it down. And you're probably going to drop because people got film on you and they can figure out what your weaknesses are and how to attack you. How to attack your weaknesses, how to attack the team, how to stop what you do. The third year is okay, the quarterback can say, how do I adjust? How do I make adjustments to combat what they're doing? Then you get to see how good a quarterback really is. In that third year is the chess game. It's the defensive coordinator and the quarterback going head to head.
I get what you're saying. I'll be right back. I just gotta mute myself really quick.
Okay.
Go to the other room.
All right, cool. All right, guys. So here's let's check with the chat. Hey, J-Love, what's going on, man? What's up, J-Love? What's up, Bosco? Crew in the house. He said the Eagles are in trouble. That's going to be an interesting matchup. The Eagles. I'll say correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the Eagles play the Bills, right? I believe the Eagles play the Bills. That's going to be a tough that Bills defense is pretty good. They're going to the Eagles are going to face a challenge. They definitely are. That Bills defense is good. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe they play the Bills. I want to make sure of that. All right. Yes. Yeah. So it is the Bills. That's going to be a good game. That's going to be a good one. We were talking about the NFC East a little earlier there, J-Love. Koo says he's enjoying the bye week for the Cowboys. Carson's going to get hit a lot in that game. That's for sure, Bosco. Carson is definitely going to get hit a lot in that Bills game because people teams have shown that you can get the best of that Eagles offensive line at times if you know how to blitz correctly and how to disguise it. You can get the best of that Eagles defensive line. They've definitely shown that. Teams have definitely shown that you can get the best of that Eagles line. That'll be a good one. If the Bills beat the Eagles, then there's going to be trouble in Philly. If the Bills beat the Eagles, there's going to be trouble in Philly for sure. Another so Ravens Red Zone said Baltimore is going to be a good game when they play San Fran. Baltimore's done well so far. I still Ravens Red Zone. I'm still having a hard time believing in you guys. I'm sorry to say that, but I still am having a hard time believing in that team. Jay, come on, man. That's not right. That is not right. Oh, that's not right. Yeah, I still have a hard time trusting Baltimore. Trusting the Ravens. They have surprised me though. They have definitely surprised me with where they're at. They've put themselves into position to position to do well in that division though. That's for sure. They definitely have done that. And Jackson surprised me this year as well. He's played better than I thought he would. I'll be the first to admit he definitely has played better than I thought he would. Baltimore is going to be a good one. I believe the Patriots play Baltimore in Baltimore. That'll be an interesting game because the Ravens. One thing the Ravens crowd, that playing in Ravens Stadium is pretty. It's one of the tougher stadiums to play in. So Patriots going to Baltimore should be an interesting game. That should be an interesting one. That'll be a fun one for sure. And it's the Ravens are one of the only teams that are left that could actually pose a threat to the Pats. But I say that every week. I say that it seems like every other week I say that, this team could pose a threat to the Patriots and could give them troubles in certain ways. And that Patriot defense and offense just keeps proving me wrong, man. And JD's back in the house.
Hey, what's
Welcome
up?
Back.
Thanks.
So we're talking Ravens Red Zone and the Patriots and Ravens. Patriots playing in Ravens Stadium. You got any thoughts on that?
Oh, 1 second. I lost. Hello?
You're there. I can hear you, JD. I got sound good. Hey, leave the stream, leave it completely, and then come back in. Leave it completely. Like, take yourself out of it and then come back in.
I think my microphone is broken, so I'll have to use the speaker mic.
Can you hear me? You got sound?
Hello?
Hey, working? Hold on, guys. Technical difficulties. 1 sec. Sorry, guys. We're trying to work through this.
Hello?
Hey.
All right.
Good? All right. So what's the chat saying? All right. J-Love said I can actually hear you now. Hey, J-Love, you want in on this? You want in on this, J-Love? Is your little ass home from school or no? Who says the Patriots will beat the Browns? I agree with that. The Patriots will beat the Browns. That is a fact. J-Love on the way. Hold on, bud. All right. I just sent it to you, bud. So let's see. So talking about the Patriots and the Browns. Yes, the Pats will beat the Browns. They will. They will definitely beat the Browns. That is a fact. That is going to happen. I think Baker's all right, let's try this again. Hey, what's up? You got me?
Not too much.
Back?
Yeah, my headphones are broken, so those don't work anymore. Sorry about
All
that.
right. So we Patriots and Browns now. What do you got? Any thoughts on that?
Patriots and Browns. Well, one team hasn't been prepared all season for anything, and the other team has been prepared for everyone and their cousin. So I'm pretty sure that the Browns are going to get smacked, especially since Jarvis Landry is now talking shit. And not only that, but Bill Belichick.
You took my take.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
And then,
Go ahead.
Belichick hates the Browns anyway. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah, Belichick hates the Browns ever since they fired him. So that was pretty much all I was going to say. So I could see a run-up score 44-0.
The one thing you do not want to do against the Pats is give them bulletin board material. Yes. Come on, man. The one thing you don't want to do is give them a reason to run the score up, because Belichick will eviscerate you if that happens. Like 44-6, and he will have no misery, and he'll dead fish handshake the coach on the other side.
Justin Bosgill says Baker will be passing to Patriots all day. See, I could see him adding to that 11 interception total a lot, and that's bad.
Like I told, the Pats have 18 interceptions through 7 games. 18.
Wow,
that's almost 3 a game.
That's not fair. That's unbelievable.
That's like Madden cheat code numbers.
It is.
It's insane.
It absolutely is.
Like the one thing Freddie Kitchen should have said, like, just guys, like, shut up. Don't you say that's what Belichick? You guys say just enough to the media, like, give them nothing. You don't get, like, give them nothing. You say nothing. You say bland. What like just say don't, like,
Now Belichick's going to be working twice as hard.
They're literally they will, like, if there was any shot of Cleveland staying in it, it's not now, because Belichick's just like, all right, they're talking shit like no,
That's
that's
we let them stay with us.
so. Dark Skills says, thoughts on the Chicago Bears. Being a Bears fan,
I
JD,
have a ton of thoughts. I mean,
go for it. So you have a fellow Bear.
Man, so many thoughts actually. I'll probably be writing about it on the state of the Bears on rumboys.com. But basically, what I've seen is,
Hey, hold on. Hey, JD, sorry to interrupt. One second.
Sure.
1 second.
Jordan Love. Hey, what up, man?
All right. So, J Love, JD, go for it. So, thoughts on the Chicago Bears?
Well, there's a lot to say. They absolutely could not get their defense off the field last week. It was absolutely pathetic. And eventually, you saw. I think it was in the third quarter, late third quarter. There was this one play where Bridgewater had like 9 seconds to throw. And people are questioning, like, oh, are the Chicago Bears defense, are they crappy again? It's like, dude, you had them on the field for like 80% of the game, and then you expect them to play well in like late third quarter. No, it's not how it's going to. Like, they were giving up, basically, is my point. And if something doesn't happen to this offense soon, the defense will give up, and that defense will be picked for parts, and we're just going to have Khalil Mack and a bunch of scrubs. Sooner or later, if we don't fix this, like yesterday, it's a problem.
That's a good point, because they have to do something to improve the offense.
They really do.
Nobody's looking on. I could guarantee teams aren't looking on the offensive side of the ball to take parts away from it.
No, yeah. The teams are like saying, well, they have all these amazing defensive players, but they don't have anything going on offense. They're going to steal our defensive players away from us soon. I guarantee it.
J-Love.
And we won't keep them.
Up?
What do you got? Thoughts on the Chicago Bears so far this season?
I'm going to go on a limb and say that the Bears are having their worst season in the past few years. Not too much of a bold statement, but Mitch Trubisky has to go.
Yeah, clearly.
He's a quarterback that coming into the league, he was a game manager, and at this point, he's so injury prone, you can't even call him that. He's shown no progression throughout his career. Anything you want to see in a quarterback throwing the ball down the field and doing anything special for you, especially a guy you spent the third overall pick on. Second. No, he was second. Solomon Thomas went third.
They moved up to get him. They moved
second.
Up to get him.
You spent the second overall pick on a guy who went ahead of Patrick Mahomes, ahead of Deshaun Watson. Out of those three quarterbacks to go in the first round, you can easily, and I mean easily, say Mitch Trubisky's had the worst career. Out of this upcoming class, the Bears do not have the first round pick. Actually, that was in the Raiders trade with Khalil Mack. That hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. They don't have a first. Wow.
No, I was going to say Jake Fromm would be in their range because of where they're standing, but he's not going to be in there.
We need a free agent quarterback.
Either a free agent quarterback like Teddy Bridgewater, who's hitting free agency this offseason. If Jordan Love out of Utah State, no bias, but he is going to be a second to third round quarterback this year.
Regular analytics. We'll talk about the Chargers we'll do the Chargers next, because they're an interesting team as well.
Crum says Bears have a David Montgomery. Where's the running game? The running game.
That's my issue with them. They don't use the running backs at all.
They don't run it. They have two high caliber running backs that can easily help that offense out, and they just never use them.
Something happened when Cody Whitehair moved to guard, and I don't know if it's correlation with Matt Nagy calling a lot more like pistol shotgun plays, but like for some reason they just don't want to run it anymore. Like ever since Cody Whitehair left center, they were just like, nope, we don't want to do this anymore. We're not running it. No under center, none of that shit.
James Daniels is starting center, right?
Yes.
Yeah, now he is. But at first they started with Cody Whitehair. Or no, yeah, last year they had Cody Whitehair. He was doing a really good job. And then we got James Daniels. Now Cody Whitehair moved back to guard.
That doesn't make sense. James Daniels played guard in college.
His whole
I don't know.
whole college career, didn't he?
I don't get it either.
Yeah.
I don't get it either. Whitehair was doing well. He was a Pro Bowl center. Like, for God's sake.
How's he playing at guard?
I mean,
Decent.
That's not their exactly. That's not their problem. Their problem, I feel like, is Trubisky. Like there's this.
The one thing that
I
my mind about this whole situation. How do you alleviate pressure off the quarterback, and how do you alleviate pressure off the passing game?
Run the ball.
The freaking ball.
But it doesn't matter when there's literally this dude is wide open, like 5 yards in between anyone else, and Trubisky still can't hit him, and he's like 6 yards away from Trubisky.
And I've seen
you have that problem.
Caleb, correct. Hey, guys, both of you, correct me if I'm wrong. How many times have you seen the Bears try to move the sticks, right? They throw the stick route or the comeback or the slant across the middle, and that ball is thrown at the guy's ankles or it's thrown behind him. It's never put in the right spot.
I hate to do it, okay? I hate to do it.
Right spot.
Mitchell Trubisky looks like the preseason from Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
When I look at both of them, Daniel Jones' preseason, like his preseason games in comparison to Mitch Trubisky's games, this season where he started, they look almost uncanny. We're talking about a guy who I thought was a third-round quarterback looking like a first-round pick a few years ago whose rhythm is off, he's injury-prone, he's getting overpaid, he wants a contract this offseason. He's in a tough spot.
Trubisky has no chance of getting a contract. There's no chance, honestly, at all.
As a backup, maybe.
They need
somewhere.
The Bears. All right, so to sum all this up, right? So sum all this up, and then we'll move to regular analytics is new on the channel. So thanks.
What teams have you covered so far? Since I came in here a little bit late.
Talked about the Cardinals a little bit.
Talked about the Cardinals a bit, but we can go back to them. We're gonna we'll talk about the Chargers next, and then the Cardinals next. So to sum this up, they need a leader. They need a quarterback bad. They need one bad.
And they need Matt Nagy to run the ball.
I don't think they're gonna get one this year. The
only chance they have is maybe a KJ Castillo. They may be able to get Jordan Love if he falls a little bit. I could see a scenario where you guys trade up, and that would involve moving Tariq Cohen. You would have to trade Tariq Cohen in your second, probably to move up late in the first, and you might be able to snag Jake Fromm. But at the same time, Jake Fromm reminds me so much of Mitch Trubisky.
Fromm is Trubisky. Trubisky is Fromm. They're the same.
I don't want a rookie. I want Alex Smith or Teddy Bridgewater.
Alex Smith's never playing football again.
Alex Smith.
That's not true.
You're only JD. The only way, and I mean the only way you're gonna get Teddy Bridgewater away from the Saints is if you overpay him.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine.
Like grossly.
I'm talking 22 mil a season.
Yeah, you're gonna give $17 million.
We're gonna have to pay our defensive guys anyway, so we might as well pay a guy $22 million versus 20 or 35 million.
You don't have that money though.
Well, they already paid Mac. Well, that's not. I mean, they won't be able to pay much after that.
You guys would have to make a lot of moves to even free up that amount of money. But yeah, I'm thinking you're going to.
Isn't Tariq Cohen a free agent next year, or is it the year after? Is it this year or next year?
Check. Let me see.
It's one of these years.
We're all in agreement that they're going to have to either give up a lot to get a free agent quarterback, or Bears fans are going to have to suffer through another year.
The Lions,
of what it is.
The Bears are the worst team in that division.
Yeah,
they're becoming that. Yeah,
I know. I don't care what the records say.
With
the Lions
yes.
Get rid of this week. The Lions should have been undefeated. Forget the tie. Forget the loss to Kansas. They should have been undefeated.
They've had a good season. I'll give them that. And yeah, right now the Bears are the worst in the division, I think.
So, all right. So they need a quarterback, and in summary, right? They're either going to have to grossly overpay this year to get one,
Trade up.
or give away a huge piece to trade up to get there's not a lot of options for that.
That's it.
All right, so
Needs just won't work. I don't see
Chargers.
it.
moving on,
Trump says Cam Newton's the only options, JD.
right?
Can I please
So-
start with the Chargers?
So regular analytics, right? He said, what about the Chargers and their current state of affairs and situation that they're
Can I start?
JD, we'll start with you. I mean, not JD, J-Love. We'll
Okay.
start with you.
Melvin Gordon's holdout hurt this team drastically. I'm going to come out and say it that Melvin Gordon's not going to get a contract this offseason. Melvin Gordon's not going to get paid. He's probably going to come back to the Chargers next season on some type of $5 to $7 million deal. Wow. Try and play for another contract, and possibly they make another run. You saw Mike Williams is getting a lot of red zone targets. He's just not making the plays because he's dealt with injuries. Keenan Allen's been a mainstay for that team. Hunter Henry just came back from injuries, looked great. That offensive line is hurt every single year. Russell Okung's coming back this week, but he's not playing. Forrest Lamp is now out all season, and that was their best player on the offensive line. Austin Eckler's been your best back, and you're not giving him the ball half the time. This team is a mess.
So regular analytics says there's talks about Nick Foles being sent elsewhere. What about him to the Chargers?
Nick Foles is not going to get moved to the Chargers. They don't have the cap space to do that. If they're trying to make a Super Bowl run, they need to what they need to do is pick up an offensive line that's not going to get hurt. They need to draft one this offseason. I hate to say it, they need a safety. With Derwin James being out, that safety position's been awful.
How many times in the Steelers game when they played the Steelers did you see the defensive backs blow coverage in that game?
A lot. Minimum like 10 times.
I counted 6 times that they absolutely blew their assignment and people were running wide open.
Okay, the one thing that the Chargers have going for him is that Derwin James is hurt and he's a great player. Nasir Adderley, a guy you guys all know I'm really high on. I personally love Nasir Adderley. I think that his
ceiling is
Nasir Adderley plays up here, up high, single high safety. That lets Derwin James come play in the box where he's comfortable. They complement each other perfectly. They need to pick up another corner. And that's a spot where everybody thought, oh, they have one of the best cornerback rooms in the NFL easy, right? No, they moved Desmond King to the outside, and he's been getting torched all season. He needs to play slot. Their defensive line, where's Joey Bosa been all season?
I know.
Nick Bosa's outplayed him. His rookie brother is outplaying him.
Yeah, he is.
Melvin Ingram doesn't look like he's any player in the league, and their defensive tackle spot has been a rotation for God knows how long.
You know what I think the biggest biggest need for the Chargers is right now? And
coaching.
I think it's kind of been overlooked.
Coaching.
Bro, outside the offensive tackles on either side for the Chargers have played terrible.
And I just brought it up. They lost their right guard, who's been a Pro Bowler in the past. He's done. Their offensive tackles this year have played awful. They're getting their left tackle back. Russell Okung is coming back. He's had a heart issue and he sat out all year, so they've had a backup playing in his spot. He's not going to play all game. They said they're probably going to try and play him for probably about half the game, rotating him in and out, 2 plays, 1 play, 2 play, 1 play.
That's that Steeler game when the Chargers played the Steelers.
And if it wasn't for Melvin Gordon, that game would have been a win.
That Steeler game showed me a lot.
If it wasn't for
the Steelers aren't even a good team, and they exposed that Charger team like bad.
And if it wasn't for Melvin Gordon, if they give the ball to Austin Eckler, that's probably a touchdown.
Yeah.
I said it earlier in the season, and it was probably, I think it was on the first stream that I was on, actually, the fantasy football draft stream. I said that the Chargers needed to trade Melvin Gordon as soon as possible because I thought Austin Eckler
said it before the season started. When he started the holdout, you said it. They should move him now because his value is the highest it's going to be.
Absolutely.
And Austin Eckler's value is only going up. And you know what that means? If they ship Gordon out, Eckler's going to be in that same spot. Hey, let me get a contract. Justin Jackson's a good complimentary back.
I like Jackson. I think he can run hard. I think Eckler is the scat back and Justin Jackson would be fine. They could make
I personally do too. I think they can run a thunder and lightning type of scheme. Austin Eckler's a good shifty receiving back out of the backfield. And
I like Eckler.
Justin Jackson, while kind of being undersized a little bit, looks for contact and he exceeds when he makes contact with a linebacker, a safety.
Reminds me of James White.
Austin Eckler reminds me of Jamal Charles.
Yeah,
he's a beast. He's a catch it out of the backfield anytime you want type of guy. Give him the ball like 17 times a game type of guy.
Yeah. So I mean, so going forward, I mean, just to sum up the Chargers,
they need a third receiver.
They
have no downfield threat. Also, I forgot to mention this because Tyrell Williams left. They're not stretching the field.
Well, they're relying on Keenan Allen to run across the middle, which is dangerous for him too.
Also, I've seen this the past few weeks a little bit more. Mike Williams has been getting a lot more targets and looks like they're starting to run the offense for him a little bit, and he started to look better as he's gotten progressively healthier. I still want him to get more red zone looks because he's a 6'5" receiver, but there's just something there that doesn't feel right with that team. And Anthony Lynn's a great coach. I think his coordinators are kind of selling him a little bit.
Regular analytics says Melvin Gordon is getting interest from the Lions, the Bills, and I've heard we've been getting calls from teams. Okay, that'd be interesting if he went to the Lions.
Okay, wait. The Lions? I understand Kerryon Johnson's went on IR for the second straight season, but Kerryon Johnson is a great running back.
Yeah, but why not have both?
Okay. It depends what the Chargers' value is for him, because if it's a 4th round pick, fine. If it's a 2nd round pick like they were asking for at the start of the season, no. Not for a season. Not even a season, 8 games where he's looked awful.
Yeah.
And to address Karam Mawani, yes, we will take Nick Foles in Chicago. Keep going.
So, all right. Let's move on to a team another team that needs some changes in some key areas. But if they get those changes, it could it could definitely, like, they're a divisional or conference team at least. And we are talking about the Cowboys.
Oh my God.
So now, JD, we'll start with you.
Mm-hmm.
The Cowboys. What's up, man?
I think they'll go 9-7. If they get 10 wins, they could probably win the division. They got to beat all their division opponents going out if they want to make the playoffs. They really do. I mean, not that anyone is like creeping up in the NFC East, but it's just to maintain the dominance. The Cowboys
so bad.
Are the worst thing about the Cowboys is if they don't start out well, they're not good. That's the worst thing about the Cowboys. They have to start the game with like 14 points or like 14-7. They have to start the game with 14 points in the first half. Otherwise, they suck. That's really what it is. They have to start relatively strong.
And you know what that comes down to, right? That comes down to coaching a team coaching a team on how to play from behind.
They're not good at adjustments. They're not, and that's Jason Garrett. So
yeah, Jason Garrett needs to get fired.
So it is what it is. Yeah, I agree with that. If they don't win a playoff game this year, I said it earlier, I think they'll be fired. I think he'll be fired.
So J-Love, I'll pose a question to you. We talked about it a little earlier, but I'd be interested to get your opinion. Who gets fired first? Dan Quinn or Jason Garrett? Who gets canned first? Which one?
We did talk Falcons for a little bit. We can talk more.
Oh, I'm going to rant if we go on the Falcons. I think they're – oh, my God.
So here's the thing. So we'll do Cowboys now, Falcons next. We'll get to the Falcons next.
Okay.
So J-Love, we both talked about this earlier. Who gets fired first?
You're making my head hurt. Both of them are so bad. Can I go with neither and just like they're both going to get fired at the same time? I think they're both fired after the season. I don't see either team making a move because they have potential. That Monday right after the season is over, simultaneously, both of them, bye, get out. We didn't make the playoffs because I think the Eagles are a better team, despite having some issues with that secondary.
Better coaching.
I think they have better coaching. I think they have a better overall roster. I think their weaknesses are a little bit stronger. Like not stronger. I think their weaknesses are worse than the Cowboys. But we've seen them kind of overcome weaknesses other than their secondary.
Yeah.
And there's chances that they still make a move. I know Patrick Peterson, coming from a Cardinals fan, is still having rumors being traded.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of teams calling about him.
Focusing in on the Cowboys, J-Love, what do you think, man? Where do they got their issues at?
It's Dak Prescott and the coaching. I understand Dak Prescott's I think going into the last week was the third-ranked quarterback in the NFL QBR and passer rating wise. Watching him, he has Michael Gallup. He has Amari Cooper. Jason Witten's even still a reliable target. That he is awful. Dak Prescott is a bottom 5 starting quarterback. That's not even an overreaction. Him overthrowing open receivers is awful. It's so bad.
But see, it falls on coaching. You gotta.
They have to ride the league.
I don't think. I haven't given up 100% on Prescott yet. He could still be a game manager. He could still, I haven't given up on him yet. Me, at least. I haven't given up on Dak, at least. The Cowboys are a different story, but I haven't given up on Dak quite yet. What about defensively, J-Love? What do you think? They I don't know. Their
defense is fine. I'm a huge fan of their defense. Their defense gets pressure on the quarterback. Their linebackers play amazing, even though I know Leighton Vander Esch is hurt. I don't know what's the status on him recently. And their corners play great. Byron Jones is an amazing corner. Byron Jones is a great corner.
I want to see this is my take on Dallas, and I think it just encompasses everything.
I just got a report. David Johnson is going to be a game-time decision versus the Saints.
Ooh.
And Devontae Adams is also going to be a game-time decision. He's not ruled out at all. He's practicing today, so we could see him possibly play.
So here's my take on Dallas, and this pretty much encompasses everything. And then, JD, I'll give the floor to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give the floor to you. I want to see the defense. I want to see the offense, and I want to see Dak with a competent coach for like 2 full seasons. Because that first season's gonna be tough because it's what I mean. I want to see them with a competent coach with Dak, with the defense, because they have talent on that team. Garrett is an idiot in every aspect of overseeing what a head coach should oversee. Like, he's an idiot. I want to see give me a competent head coach in there for 2 years, and then I will make my judgment on them.
I'm going to agree with you and disagree with you at the same time. I agree with you that Dak needs a new coach.
Yeah.
I don't think Garrett's an idiot, but I do think he's very mediocre, predictable, and he's not going to win them a Super Bowl. I don't think he's the guy to win them a Super Bowl. They need someone outside who's not involved with the Cowboys who can tell Jerry Jones to shut the hell up. So that's what they need, and they need to see what Dak Prescott is. Now, Dak Prescott this is the thing. When I was critical about him earlier in the year, when I wrote about him on rumboys.com, I talked about he kind of has an average arm. He has an average throwing arm. Well, guess what? He's gotten a little bit better this year. I'll give him a little bit of credit, just a tad. His deep ball looks better. Jordan Love is right. He does just suck sometimes. Sometimes he just sucks.
Yeah.
But like there are moments where you're like, well, not even moments, like half of the whole game where you're like, damn, this guy's pretty damn good. So he has some potential. That's the word I'll use. He has potential. Now it's what you just said, Bobby. Exactly. He needs someone to come in and take over and say, this is what we got to do, Dak. If Dak does it, they could probably win a Super Bowl. He's got the potential. Now, is he going to win with this team under this coach? No. They're an average team.
That's what I'm saying. I need to see Dak with an actual coach, somebody who knows the mechanics, who knows the I want to see what he can do with a competent coach, with a competent coordinator, one that's going to play Dak's. Look, Dak throws 16 to 18-yard passes pretty well, pretty accurate, pretty well. Get Amari Cooper on some posts. Get Gallup, running across the middle.
They have great route runners on that team.
And
Gallup and Cooper are great route runners.
Listen, and so is as slow as Jason Witten is.
He's a good route runner too.
That dude catches everything. Jason Witten made a career on being. Jason Witten made a career. Jason Witten made a career on being a good route running tight end, and he catches everything. So on 3rd and 5, let Witten run the stick route and put it on him. Like I want to see.
But again, it comes back to a coach that's not using his star running backs. Running backs. I think Tony Pollard's looked great this season when he's gotten the ball.
Yeah,
they need to be a run-first team.
They have two massive weapons in Elliott and Pollard, and Garrett is too much of an idiot to know how to use them.
You're paying Zeke way too much money not to use the hell out of him anyway. I would run him into the dirt.
All right, so right, and we know, as goes Zeke, so goes the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just saying for a reason.
Moving on. Next, somebody brought up the Atlanta Falcons. J-Love, what do you got, man? What's up?
Tear it down. Fire sale it.
Fire sale.
Fire sale. Keanu Neal is hurt again. The most overrated safety in the league. He had one good year, and since then he's tried to make hit after hit, and he's hurting himself. He's awful in coverage. He's a box safety.
Bro, the backfield he's peeking into the backfield every play to try and make the highlight play, and he misses.
Desmond Trufant has been riddled with injuries this season. He's easily their best corner. Their secondary is way too young. I'm still a huge fan of Deon Jones. I think he's probably one of the best middle linebackers in the NFL. He's athletic as ever, and he reads defenses like there's no end. Their linebackers are their best players on that team. Tack McKinley's played great. Vic Beasley, after having an insane season, has showed up nowhere. Grady Jarrett, after they just paid him.
Beasley this year is a ghost.
They just paid Grady Jarrett, and I haven't seen him make a big play at all this year. As for the offense, I understand they drafted 2 offensive linemen, and they're both hurt. But that offensive line is so bad. We're talking about an offensive line 3 years ago that was considered one of the best in the league.
The best in the league. 2 years ago.
Weird how that happens.
2 years ago, they were the best.
Now all of a sudden you have Matt Ryan hurt.
Karan says, would you trade Matt Ryan?
I would not trade Matt Ryan. That's the one player on that team that I think you can still ride him for 4 or 5 more years, and he can get you a Super Bowl. Julio Jones, his value is at a high. I would trade Julio. I understand he's a generational talent. You need to get value for this team. Calvin Ridley's made great plays for this team. They just traded Mohamed Sanu. Austin Hooper is making plays for them somehow, mainly thriving off of blown coverage. And Devontae Freeman's look awful.
I wouldn't tear it down. I would just get rid of Quinn and focus on getting somebody who can We're talking about a team that 2 straight years people had in a Super Bowl contender conversation. True. Even me, because of how I thought them and the Chargers could meet in the Super Bowl. Both of them. I think they were both top of their division with great teams second. And we're talking about somebody who, again, falls short because of coaching, because of over expectations, and just overall just being injury prone. If you have injury prone players, you can't pay them. You can't ride them.
I have an interesting team that I want to get you guys' thoughts on, and they've played well. they've actually played real well this year, and usually at this time in the year, they shoot themselves in the foot.
Please tell me you're talking about the Colts.
Huh?
You're talking about the Colts?
No. That usually at this there's been years where they have started red hot, they've played well, and at this point in the year they shoot themselves in the foot and they fall right back to where they
Niners.
Nope.
Oh. What team are you talking about?
The Buffalo Bills.
Oh.
The Buffalo Bills.
The team thriving off of competition.
5-1.
Sure.
5-1. They play the Eagles this weekend, right?
It's a big game for the Eagles.
That's a huge game for both teams.
I mean, yeah, if you want to stay dominant, yeah, you want to win that game if you're the Bills.
So,
definitely.
JD, can they beat the Eagles? Is that team,
They can beat the Eagles.
If they continue their trend, let's say if they continue their trend, they could win. There's a possibility that they could win 11 games. A possibility.
Yeah, I mean it is a possibility, especially since the Packers, the Patriots are going to be so far ahead of everyone. Really, they're just shooting for the wild card at this point. I mean, who knows though? You never know if you keep winning at this pace. You never know what could happen to the Patriots. You could lose one game extra and you win the division.
The Patriots have a tough schedule. Coming up the next few weeks. The Texans are coming up. They have the Chiefs coming up, which Mahomes might be able to
lose as little games as possible if you're Buffalo.
That's what they have the possibility to win 11 games, and that puts them in second place in the division. They could have a,
Okay, but again,
have to play the Patriots in the playoffs.
But again, that offense is not good.
No, it's just Josh Allen kind of running around and making ridiculous.
Singletary's had a couple spots here and there. That offensive line isn't too bad, but their receivers are awful. You took it. Singletary is definitely capable of getting it done in the run game, and Frank Gore is a nice depth piece. But they got to get receiver. They got to get receiver help, and they need two offensive tackles that can block. They have an offensive tackle that can block.
The offensive tackles for the Bills are what's going to sink them.
No, they have a good left tackle. Deon Jones is a pretty good left tackle.
No, tackles. I'm telling you that they're tackles on the blitz. Watch them on the blitz, J-Love. When they get blitzed, they get bull rushed and overrun.
It's usually the right side. Deon Jones has played pretty well.
The reason why I think they can beat the Eagles, why Karam is right in the chat, is because the Eagles have been really, really undisciplined in this first half of the season.
I can't see them beating the Eagles. Again, I've said it all year. Football is a game of matchups. Guess what? The Eagles, great at stopping the run. They're awful against the pass. The Bills' offense can't pass the ball. Yeah. They're great running.
Yep.
The one thing that I have to see the Eagles get doing is they need to start getting Zach Ertz the ball. Zach Ertz is, I would say, the second best tight end in the league. I think we all can agree on that.
Yeah.
Kelsey won.
When he's playing well.
Behind Kelsey, yes.
Behind Kelsey? Okay, cool. They're not getting him the ball at all. And I probably would attribute that mainly to I would not put Kittle above Ertz. But
not yet, at least. Not yet.
Defense are starting to key on him because we've seen a lot of injuries. Again, this is another team that's been injury prone all season, especially with their receivers. And with Nelson Aguilar having too many drops, they just haven't been able to get him the ball. And the Bills are second in the league against tight ends, which can give them some life against this team. But I still see the really Jordan Howard is going to thrive this game.
Jordan Howard has been amazing, and I miss him.
Yeah,
okay. Can we backtrack? That trade made no sense. You traded him for you traded him for a 6th-round pick, and then you go out and spend a third on a similar player.
One of my most popular videos on YouTube is me getting pissed off about that trade.
It didn't make sense at all in my eyes, and I kind of understand the trade and you not wanting to pay him, but now you're gonna have to pay Cohen.
Yeah. And he's worth.
Not only J-Love, not only you're gonna have to pay Cohen, you're
You're gonna have to pay Cohen.
Pay him to stay.
Yeah, and he's not as good as Howard was overall. Howard had a better overall game. Howard was closer to Matt Forte than Cohen is.
And listen, Howard could catch the football too. He could
do everything.
If anything, they should have traded Cohen to the Eagles.
I agree.
Cohen should have went to the Eagles instead of Howard.
Yeah, but everyone
Jordan Howard.
I love Cohen, but
in my opinion, there's 4 or 5 bell cow backs in the league, right? Like 3 down, no matter what, you got him. Jordan Howard, in my opinion, is in that second tier right below him.
Yeah.
Like you have David Johnson, Zeke, Christian McCaffrey, Saquon.
Yep.
He had more yards than Zeke the rookie year.
I would also put Le'Veon Bell in that category. You have those 5, right?
Yeah, Bell.
And then you have Melvin Gordon. You have Jordan Howard in that second tier right below him. And he's not treated like it at all. Since he's came into the league, he has the 3rd most yards in the league from any running back, scrimmage-wise. And he's getting disrespected by literally everybody.
Yeah. I don't get it either. I don't understand it. Even on his own team, they put Sanders in front of him a lot, and I just don't get it. Yeah. And well, no, he won the rushing title, but Pat says Zeke won the rushing title or run rookie of the year in the rushing title. Sure, he won the rushing title, but guess who had more yards from scrimmage?
Jordan Howard, because he got balls out of the backfield where he caught and ran. That was actually one of the things that a lot of people liked about him his rookie year is that his ability to make big plays out of the backfield, catching the ball. Yep. And now all of a sudden he can't catch.
Listen, Zeke can
catch.
You know what I don't. So sorry to go back to the Cowboys, but what I don't understand is like Zeke's in the backfield. It's going to be a run with Zeke. Simple.
Yeah.
Like throw the ball.
Whoa.
Surprise some people every once in a while.
I agree. Like once or twice a game. Not like
maybe but like mix it up a little bit.
Pat, no, I'm not saying that.
No, absolutely not, Pat. I'm not thinking Howard over Zeke in the draft.
He's underrated by most
people. Yeah, he's underrated.
I'm not saying he's a top 5 back. I said Zeke's in that topmost echelon of a bell cow back.
Definitely top.
Yeah, Zeke is the best, but like Jordan Howard he's in the conversation for like top running backs. Like he's definitely top 10.
Okay. Oh.
So what about any other teams that you guys what about J-Love? I talked about this earlier. I want to get your thoughts. If the Panthers beat the Niners,
they're not.
Listen.
No, I don't even want to entertain that possibility. I live in North Carolina. I can't entertain it. If they beat the 49ers, I will lose my mind.
Listen, if the Panthers and Allen beat the Niners, do you immediately start taking calls on Cam Newton and roll with your guy?
They already have been taking calls on Cam Newton. Like that's already a given, but I can't see a possibility where they win this game.
To me, if the Panthers beat the Niners and give them their first loss,
that would put the Panthers in contender conversations, and I can't do that. I can't.
It's going to be that's going to be a must watch because it's going to that defense is going to give Allen a test of what
a test. They're going to eat his lunch. That defensive line is amazing.
Yeah, no, me and JD talked about it earlier. It's that front 7 that Sam Fran has is it's different. It's next level. It's next level this year. They've played next level this year.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Bosa's played out of his mind. Arik Armstead, despite not even necessarily being considered a starter, he's played huge because he's fresh all the time. Kind of like what we saw in Philly a few years ago. I hate referring back to this division because I think it's very bad, and these Cowboys fans are going to come at my neck again. Why do you have so many Cowboys fans in your chat? Oh my god. But I mean, we saw what Derek Barnett, that's his name.
Mm-hmm.
Derek Barnett was able to do off the edge a few years ago because he was fresh all the time and that he had fresh legs and he was able to come in and make a whole bunch of moves. But I mean that defensive line is great. The one weakness they have is linebackers. And man, unless McCaffrey can get into that second level, I can't see it. And Cam Newton's already probably going to get traded.
Yeah, so we talked about that. We hit on that a little bit earlier too, J-Love. We said I said we talked about him landing possibly on the Bears. I think he could possibly go to the Bears. I think he could go to the Bucks. Where do you think Cam would end up?
Nowhere. I've said it before. I think Cam Newton's career is done.
You think he's going to just hang him up?
I think he needs to for his safety.
It's an interesting topic though, because like are there teams out there that could use him? Yeah, but the biggest risk you run into with Newton is at this point in his career, he just can't stay healthy. He physically cannot stay healthy.
Yeah. That's why I think he needs to hang him up. Similar to what you even saw, you saw a couple players do this here and there. They want to talk about being able to walk at their kids' graduation. They want to be able to run when they're 50 and 60. And at this point, if Cam Newton wants to do that, he has to hang it up.
Because the way he plays, he takes a beating.
Yeah.
I got another topic for you, J-Love. Here since we're on the different breaking down different teams. Do you believe in the Baltimore Ravens?
No. Will they win that division? Yes. Do I think that they're contenders? No.
What do you think? What do you think's going to get them?
A good matchup in the first round.
So you said they'll win the division, make the playoffs, and then in the divisional round they'll get clipped?
No. Wild card. I think they're going to lose in the wild card. I don't see them getting a bye. I think that the Patriots are going to get a bye, and I think that at this moment the Chiefs are probably going to get a bye, or the Texans. I think one of those two teams is going to end up with a better record than them, just because we know how the division plays against each other. We saw the Bengals test them because it's an interdivision game and everybody plays harder. But I don't like that defense. That's literally what it comes down to. I understand that they just picked up Marcus Peters. Everybody knows my opinion on Marcus Peters. I don't want to repeat it. I think Marlon Humphries is a top 5 corner. But it's mainly their safety spot with Deshaun Elliott being the starter at strong safety now. And their linebackers. Their linebackers are very thin, and if they get an injury there, their edge rush is pretty much non-existent. And even on the inside with Patrick Onwosu, a guy I was really high on a few years ago, showed up last year and was really underrated, but he's not looked the same, and he's still their best linebacker easily. But if he gets hurt, they're done on the inside because they traded Kenny Young. They're going to live and die by that defensive line and by the legs of Lamar Jackson.
And I'm going to go in that direction. I have no faith in that offense. I have no faith in that offense versus a good defensive coordinator that will make adjustments at the half, that will make adjustments on the fly. I have no faith.
Again,
in that offense.
We saw the Chargers do it last year. They shut him down in the wild card because they literally ran Derwin James in the box as a QB spy and didn't let him run. And you know what happened? Going into that second half, the Ravens had like 50 yards of offense.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Versus good defensive coordinators, like they're gonna say, look, Lamar's a 48 to 52% passer when you keep him in the pocket. So keep him in the pocket. Do the best you can to keep him in the pocket.
He's made huge strides this year, though. I'm a Cardinals fan, so I saw him firsthand torch us, and he made an insane throw to ice that game. It was third down. We just got past the 2-minute warning, and if we got the stop, I'm talking about the side to Hollywood Brown.
Yeah.
You put that ball anywhere else, it's incomplete.
Mm-hmm.
He put the ball in the exact spot where it needed to be. And I mean, there was 3 defenders there, and they didn't even have a chance of getting that thing. It was so perfect.
No, I'll agree with you. He has made strides. He has definitely made strides and improvements. I like I said, I think when you put him up against a
you have to make him uncomfortable.
Yeah. When is he the most uncomfortable? When he has
in the pocket.
When he has to stay in the pocket, when he has to play a game from inside the pocket, because I don't think he has the football IQ to read a defense and stand in the pocket and point blitzes out on top of changing the blocking scheme at the same time. I don't think he has the football IQ to do that. So the best way to beat him is like I said, 48 to 52% when he's forced to stay in the pocket.
Yeah.
Let him try and beat you in the air.
Patrick Mahomes was just ruled out Sunday.
That's a smart, that's, you know what that is? That's
Robbie Anderson is in, the Jets are in trade talks to trade Robbie Anderson to the Raiders.
For what are they getting? Do you know what they're getting in return?
It's just trade talks right now. Rumor has it that it's going to be like a 5th-round pick if the trade is made.
Anderson's then the Raiders would win that trade. I think he's worth higher than a 5th.
I don't think he's worth higher than a 5th. He's an outside receiver that has deep threat. Yeah, he's lengthy, but he's on a contract that's a little spendy for him.
I would do a 4th for Anderson. A single 4th.
It would have to be next year.
But I'm just saying I would do a 4th for Anderson. He's big enough, J-Love. Think about it, right? He's big and fast enough where you could put him as a slot guy.
They already have a big slot. And Tyrell Williams. He's their slot receiver. Even Keelan Doss has been playing pretty well in their slot. Man.
So what do you? I was gonna do one more. We were gonna do one more team and then get up out of here. How about the? Let's see. You got one?
I don't know if you already talked about them. The Cardinals. They're a pretty interesting
let's
team.
Do the Cardinals. Let's do the Cardinals. Kingsbury and
Kyler.
And Kyler
having a really
Cardinals fan. You got the floor.
So. Coming into this season, I thought the Cardinals has had the potential to start out the season maybe 5-4, with a really easy schedule to start the season. I was really low on the Panthers, and I was right until Cam Newton got hurt and they just decided to switch. They were really bad. I did not think that Kyle Allen was going to be this good. But here we are. We're sitting at 3-3-1. While that isn't a good record by any means, hey, we're not 1-5 like last year. So hallelujah. Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury are showing some progression. But David Johnson's still probably going to be out. I understand it's a game time decision. The way Chase Edmonds has been playing the past few weeks, even going to when David Johnson was playing. Great receiver out of the backfield. He had a couple touchdowns here and there. Last week he exploded.
That was a ridiculous week for him.
But the reason I'm saying David Johnson is not going to play is that they signed Zach Zenner and they also signed Alfred Morris, which means I'm so sad to say this. I kind of have a feeling that David Johnson might get put on IR.
Are they trading or putting him on IR?
Putting him on IR. They're not going to trade him. I don't understand this overreaction. David Johnson is still that bell cow back. Chase Edmonds is small. He's a small-framed guy. He's like 5'9", 5'10". And he's undersized. Him getting hurt is not out of the question at all. And that's why they signed some depth, because if David Johnson doesn't play, they don't have another backup running back with DJ Foster being out. I just don't. This team has a really interesting matchup with the Saints, because if David Johnson sits out, so does Alvin Kamara. I don't see either of them playing this week, as Kamara's apparently still limping with an ankle injury as well. And David Johnson is running, but not at full speed, and that's why they're still kind of hesitant. It looks like Christian Kirk's going to play, despite previous rumors that he's been limited in practice, and that's going to give them a big up, considering Larry Fitzgerald's probably going to get locked down this week because Marshawn Lattimore's been insane.
Oh, talk about an improvement too. He's played out of his mind.
He played great his rookie year, awful last year, and absolutely out of his mind this year. But Christian Kirk coming back gives them another weapon. Michael Thomas is probably going to be limited to a few things this game because Patrick Peterson's going to be shadowing him. In a presser, he did say he's shadowing Michael Thomas. He's not letting him get over 80 yards. Patrick Peterson came out and said that. And with Patrick Peterson coming back and him being motivated, really, this is the first time in a few years we've seen the Cardinals come out and be 500 at this point. They're actually over 500 because that tie. They have an over 500 record. Just to put that in perspective, a team that many people had at the bottom 5 in the league and now has a chance, with the Rams not being good, even though they made a trade. The Seahawks are still great and the Niners are great, so I don't really see them making a push. I could see them finishing above 500, though. They play the Browns, who aren't good. They play the Steelers, who aren't good. In my opinion, this was their hardest stretch of their schedule. And other than the 49ers coming up next week and in week 13, I believe, they play the Seahawks one more time and they play the Rams twice. Those are honestly not out of the question. They could finish like 9-6-1. And while I don't think that's a playoff contender at all, I think that they have
last year, though.
It's a lot better than last year. We were 3-13.
No,
but
Kingsbury, the chemistry between Kingsbury and Kyler, you can tell is there.
Oh yeah, they've gone back to his freshman year.
And he trusts him. Kingsbury trusts Kyler that when Kyler rolls out of the pocket, he's going to make a smart decision or throw it out of bounds.
The one issue I have with this Cardinals team is the offensive line. Still.
Oh, dude, they're terrible. They're terrible.
I wouldn't say terrible. They've had a few plays where they break down, but J.R. Sweezy's been probably the worst player on the offensive line. And that's kind of surprising considering he's been a pretty solid veteran throughout his career. The best player by far has been DJ Humphries, a guy who's been hurt all throughout his career ever since coming in. And a lot of people thought he was going to play right tackle, but then he actually moved to left to start his career, and he struggled the past few years. But this year, he's actually been good. Even going up against the Seahawks, he was matched up with Jadeveon Clowney. And in that game, you didn't see too much of Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah, no, he did pretty good. You guys need a right side. You need a right guard and a right tackle.
Our right tackle right now, we were supposed to have Marcus Gilbert, who we traded for. And I was like, okay, great. That's a mainstay for a season to help out Kyler. Before the season even starts, my man Brady blows out his knee. So there goes that. Ever since then, we've had backup right tackle shifting in and out. I think last week it was William Sweet. It's the right side. That's really what it is. Justin Pugh's playing right guard for us.
You guys, the whole right side of your line has been a revolving door all season.
Yeah, I mean it's been bad.
The right side of your line has been a revolving door.
It's been really bad, but the defense has actually looked really good. We lead the league in forced fumbles. We have, I think, 9 already. I think we have 9 forced fumbles already. I know we had 4 in one game.
All right, so here's the deal, guys. We'll do 2 more teams, and then we'll get out of here. So
Steelers,
Steelers and the Seahawks.
The Seahawks are amazing.
So let's do the Seahawks first, and we'll do Steelers last.
The Seahawks first are amazing. I think they're easily the best team in the NFC. Easily. I don't think it's close.
And to me, I don't know about you, J-Love, but to me, I've never seen a guy do more
than Russell Wilson.
Than Russell Wilson is doing right now in Seattle.
He's had less before. That's the craziest part. He's had less. 2 years ago, he led him to a playoff spot as a wild card, and he had an offensive line that was made of third stringers.
Yeah, the whole line was hurt. There was no starters in.
This year, his offensive line has been above average. Chris Carson's looked great other than some fumbling issues to start. Rashad Penny, when he gets in the game, has been kind of a boost. Tyler Lockett's been insane. DK Metcalf's played out of his mind, and he's showing that he shouldn't have slipped into the second round and almost the third.
He made that catch that he made in the Browns game
on the sideline.
That was that was a spectacular catch to keep his feet inbound.
Yeah, and that's why he fell. Actually, it's weird. People have questions about his hands, his basic hands, just catching the ball here and there, other than just going on top of somebody and catching, and his route tree. And that was more so coaching than it was him. He showed the ability to run routes, and he's proven it this season.
In college, they only gave him like 2 routes.
Streaks and slants.
Yeah, and
you're
now
faster than everybody, you're stronger than everybody.
Yeah, and now that he's actually got like a legitimate coach to show him, to teach him how to run other routes, and I think he's game by game, he's starting to learn how to use like that size and strength to his advantage. Yeah.
And I mean, his 6'4", 240-pound frame is making that pretty easy.
But that's what I mean. Like they're teaching him how he can actually use that size and use it to just bully people, to just bully corners and safeties.
Yeah. As for the defense, I had a lot of questions coming in about the safeties. They've played fine. Bradley McDougall's been pretty good. I know he's hurt, so Tedrick Thompson has played a lot this season. He's looked fine. As for the corners, Trey Flowers has looked pretty good, but again, Shaquille Griffin has been not good. That's the one player on that defense that I'm like, you can attack him. He's been torched all season. Their linebackers have been out overplaying what anybody thought. Bobby Wagner's still looking like a great player. I've seen KJ Wright make more athletic plays than I've seen him made in the past 3 years combined.
KJ's made big improvements this year because I didn't put a lot of faith in him at first, but he's definitely shown improvement, like big time improvements.
Yeah. And again, Jadeveon Clowney making those big plays. We knew that was coming. And that defensive line's looked good. Ziggy Ansah's showing some life at the age of 30.
J-Love, I don't know. I mean, to me, they got to draft. They got to draft either a guard or a tackle or a switch. They got to draft a lineman early on because Russ needs some kind of help.
He has their offensive line's ranked like 14. Offensive line isn't bad.
I don't know. I go by the eyeball test, and it just seems like still.
I value the eyeball test a little bit more than I do value stats. I agree with that, but
it still seems like there are games where he's just running for his life.
I'm trying to think about their offensive line. A right tackle would help a lot. Jermaine Ifedi, after being a first-round pick, has not looked that good, and this year's tackle class is actually really good. They could possibly pick up a Trey Adams from Washington, a 6'7" offensive lineman who's massive.
Yeah.
And is great in pass protection. He's really quick off his feet, and he's going to be agile, and he's going to help out Russell Wilson. I could see that being a first-round pick for them. Certain guards, Tyler Biadash, a guy who can play either left guard, center, or right guard. He can plug in and play any interior position. Could be a great pickup for them as well. There's a lot of spots they can improve, but this season going forward, they're the most solidified team in the NFL.
The one thing that you can count, it's clockwork. They will win. Like I said it before with JD, good teams, playoff teams that can make runs. They find ways to win. They just find, and Russ does that. It doesn't matter how he does it. He just does it.
I have the question to say Russell Wilson's a top 5 quarterback?
I think it's close. It's real close.
I know a lot of people were trying to say Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, everything like that, but
Mahomes has regressed this year, though.
okay, no.
Slightly. Not a lot, but
You can't repeat the season he had. It's literally impossible.
I mean, I think he fell back down to earth.
He didn't even fall back down to earth. He's had a great start to the season. It's just literally impossible to repeat what he did last year. And I heard a whole bunch of people saying, "Oh, he's not going to be the player he was." It's not possible. Only 5 quarterbacks in history have done that in their career, and you're going to say he's going to do it again?
I'm not saying he's done it again, but there have been games where he just makes some boneheaded throws and decisions, and I don't know if that's on him or if it's just he's trying to.
Okay, I will say this. He did miss Travis Kelce on a wide open touchdown because he tried to throw a no-look pass early in the season, and that was really bad.
He's just been trying to do too much. He's just been trying to do too much this year.
I still think he's the best quarterback in the NFL. I still think he is.
He's definitely one of the better younger talents, that's for sure.
I'm calling him the best quarterback in the NFL. I'm sorry, Tom Brady fan, but other than scheme, Tom Brady is not the best quarterback in the NFL. I'd go Mahomes.
You put him ahead of Rodgers this year?
Yeah, Mahomes. I was gonna go Rodgers, Wilson. That would be my top 3, and behind that, I'd probably go. I understand a lot of people are going to have an issue with this. I think that Carson Wentz has been amazing this year.
He's played well.
His team has just been awful for him. I would say Carson Wentz is probably number 4 for me. And then I'd probably say Tom Brady's played pretty well. And then Lamar Jackson would be my 6. I don't think Lamar Jackson's proven to me that he's a good enough pocket passer yet. I understand some people might have an issue with that, but that's personally me.
Pat said he'd like to punch Tom Brady in the throat.
I'd go with Belichick.
Brady's not top 5 this year. He just doesn't have, whether it's just not having, I just don't think he's got the weapons to work with, and it's.
He doesn't have the weapon. What?
I'm admitting that he's not top 5. He's probably somewhere around 7 or 8.
I just can't there's certain quarterbacks I can't put ahead of him. Some people are going to want to put Dak up there. I don't think you already heard me say
Dak ahead of him. I would for sure put at this point in the season, I would Rodgers is definitely ahead of him.
I put Rodgers ahead of him.
I would definitely put Rodgers ahead of him. I would put for doing, a lot with less. I would put Russ ahead of him for sure.
Okay, Tom Brady is 9th in the league in passing yards.
Yeah, this is
he has 11-4 touchdown to interception ratio. That's fine because the quarterback's ahead of him. Kirk Cousins has played really good, yeah, but I wouldn't put Matt Ryan ahead of him. I wouldn't put Dak ahead of him. I wouldn't put Phillip Rivers ahead of him.
No.
Goff, no. Deshaun Watson, he's looked pretty good, but other than that 5 touchdown game, he has not done too much. Again, yeah, I think it's Wentz, Lamar, Tom Brady. You can throw Kirk Cousins up in there because his hot streak, but starting off the year, he wasn't that good. Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers. Everybody else has way too many turnovers at this point in the season for me to like. Yeah. Even Matt Stafford's actually been really good as well. With a 13-3 touchdown interception ratio. Yeah. Matt Stafford's played really well.
All right. So what do we got? Last team. So to sum up the Steelers, how are we gonna to sum up the Seahawks? How are we gonna what do we got?
The Seahawks, best team in the NFL. That's what I'm gonna sum it up as.
My summary of the Seahawks is they're doing a lot with less, and Russ is getting it done. That only lasts for so long, though. Sooner or later, you're going to run into.
They have the best coaching in the NFL.
No.
You're gonna say the Patriots. I know it, but they have the best coaching. Pete Carroll's an offensive mastermind while running a defense that's ranked top 5 in almost every stat that I can think of.
Carroll's in there. I mean, Belichick obviously is on a different level, but like the tier down, like the next tier down, you have to. I would put Pete Carroll in that next tier as a coach, as that's in that second tier. I would put him in there. The summary for me is they're doing a lot with less, like a lot, and they're winning games and they're just finding ways to win. I just don't think that can carry them on a deep playoff run because sooner or later, talent trumps everything. And I just think they're going to run into a more.
They have certain talents, though. Chris Carson's a pretty good running back. Tyler Lockett's been a great receiver. And Russell Wilson is being Russell Wilson.
No, I know. They're the one. It's funny, though. The last couple of years, J-Love, they're that one wild card that you can never count out. For like the last 3 years, it's been like that. They're that one wild card where you never know what could happen with them. All right, so our last and final team we're going to do for this afternoon, J-Love, the Steelers. What do you think, man?
Injuries, again. With Big Ben being out, Mike Tomlin's tenure probably coming to an end. That's a hot take of mine that some people agree with, some people don't. But
you'll think he'll be let go at the end of the year?
Maybe not at the end of this year, but I've said it before. I think that if the Steelers want to move on from Big Ben, I think they move on from Mike Tomlin to start a new era in Pittsburgh and just kind of move forward. James Conner's been pretty good. Juju Smith-Schuster's been non-existent. Their offense has really struggled, but that defense with Devin Bush in there, he looks like Ryan Shazier, like a clone. What he does for that defense, he leads them. He's all over the field. He's everywhere, and it's going to depend if Mason Rudolph can come back. Really, Mason Rudolph has to play better than what their quarterback played like last week, and I'm blanking on his name, Delvin Hodges or something like that.
Yeah, Hodges. Yeah. I something Hodges. Yeah.
He played decent for a guy who was a third string, but I'm gonna go. Mason Rudolph needs to show something, and I see this team 6-10, 7-9 for sure. They are an under 500 team at the current moment with the roster playing the way they are.
I would agree. I think I don't want to say they're rebuilding, but like they
retooling is the way I would put it.
You're definitely revamping the way that the offensive side of the football looks like. And to me, I don't know about you, J-Love, but I kind of like Benny Snell this year better than Connor. At least when it comes to running off tackle, Benny Snell has shown better ability to see the field than Connor has, and I think Snell is more explosive than James Conner.
Okay,
I'm just saying what I think. He's more explosive, and I think he's a better off tackle runner. Connor might be better. Connor might be better at catching the ball out of the backfield.
Okay, I want you to think about what you're saying right quick. Benny Snell better than James Conner.
Yeah.
Just give me a minute.
You don't think that he looks good
Does anybody else in here agree with me that this man is insane about this comment?
when they run the stretch blocking schemes? I think Benny Snell sees the field better than James Conner does.
Does anybody else agree with me? Just I want to see some comments load in. Come on, somebody's got to agree with me that this man is insane.
You don't think Snell sees the field better than Conner?
There's a possibility. I haven't watched too many Steelers games, but from what I've seen, James Conner's look good, Benny Snell's look good, but like,
I'm taking Snell over.
Okay, Pat. Okay, he agrees with me. Thank you. Okay, thank you. I'm not the only one. I'm making sure I'm not losing my mind here.
Conner has not impressed me this year.
He hasn't made you look that bad into a 5th round pick outplaying him. Or was Benny Snell a 6th?
5th, I think. I'm just saying, Conner is not, from what I've seen out of James Conner, he has not impressed me this year. I'm not impressed.
He was a 4th rounder.
He's not impressed me. Benny Snell has stuck right with him when it comes to seeing the field, and when he gets opportunities, taking advantage of it.
He takes it. Okay.
Wait,
I have to bring this up. Benny Snell is a 3rd round. Is the 3rd string for a reason. Okay. Jalen Samuels, who is a combo tight end, is ahead of him on the depth chart. I understand he got hurt, but when he was in there, he was ahead of him.
I would, if I'm just telling you, I would take Snell over Conner, because Conner has, at least for this year. For this year,
Conner's been dealing with some nagging injuries. Like I hate to bring it up, they're everywhere in the NFL, but he's had a couple ankle sprains, a couple knee issues, a couple of everything, to be completely honest. He's had multiple checkouts for a concussion. He's been banged up, and that's going to play some type of factor. Seeing the field, that wasn't a question with Benny Snell, though. I will 100% agree with you. He's a great running back when it comes to seeing the field. His issue is that he has brick hands. He catches the ball like a defensive back out there. It's bad.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like when they run that stretch block, the stretch blocking for the off tackle, Snell, in my opinion, from what I've seen out of Benny Snell, he sees the holes in the defense open up better than Conner has this year.
And that's why I think he's a good running back, but he's not better than James Conner as a running back. I can't get behind that. I might be able to give you him seeing the offensive line, but between also having to look at the catching side of the thing, because it's a passing oriented league, and also having to run in between the tackles, something Benny Snell has not looked that good at this year. Bouncing it outside.
When it comes A and B gap, Snell runs into a wall. I'll give you that.
James Conner does not. James Conner fights for yards. I think he's 6th in the league.
I think they're the same
in the league in yards after contact.
I still think they're the same when it comes to running A and B gap. Conner I just think Conner is having a bad year this year. Whether it's because I don't know, is the Steelers O-line injured? Like I just think Conner's having a down year. At least from the eyeball test, from what I've seen.
This just comes back to that's just preposterous in my opinion. I can't get behind it. It's mind-blowing, to be completely honest. Wow, I cannot believe you just said Benny Snell's. But oh my god! Oh my god!
That's what I do. I drop hot takes.
Oh my god! Where's Robbie at? No, Robbie. No. No, Robbie's gonna mute you on Run Boys After Dark for this. Think I'm playing. I'm texting this man right now.
What are you?
This man, Bobby, just said that Benny Snell is better than James Conner. Sent. It is sent.
All right, so now we talked about the running backs. What about receivers wise? Because I think the big question this year from all of us at when we talked about this at the beginning of the year, J-Love, was can Juju step in and assume that number one role and beat these number one cornerbacks, and create space and get open, and that's in question. I mean, we've seen it. Some games he disappears completely.
Yeah, and that was a question coming in this year with him being the number one receiver and nobody having to worry about Antonio Brown. My bad, said his name wrong. Antonio Clown. But he's disappeared. Some of that is attributed to some quarterback chemistry issues. He's been missed on a couple of throws here and there, but at the same time, he just has been locked up. Him going up against the team's number one corner has severely hurt him. Even him being in the slot, he's not looked the same.
No, he has not been the same. And even when they're either locking him up man to man, which he can't, and he's shown that on those on.
He's not finding soft spots in zones.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, right? One thing I've noticed with him is when he's man to man and it's a physical corner and they bang him at they bump him at the line. That man's a ghost. He's a ghost. He gets thrown off his route. And then what they've also done to him is they put him on that number two, they put the number two corner with safety help over the top, and they bracket him. They bracket him all game, and
Nick was right. Nick was completely right about this.
He did say it. He did say it.
And I was agreeing with you, man. Nick, I never doubted you. I agreed. But I thought there was a chance Juju might be able to show something. I wasn't saying he was going to be this bad. I thought he was going to be a mid-tier receiver, a mid-tier wide receiver too, with him being the leading option. He's looked like he's not even anything.
There's games where he gets
okay. Wait, I just thought about this.
There's games where he disappears, man.
Like Devontae Parker and Preston Williams are outplaying this man. We're talking about Dolphins receivers. Dolphins receivers are outplaying Juju Smith-Schuster.
No, I know, and that was a huge like we had talked about that all offseason where it's. What is he going to be? What is he going to be? What is he going to give the Steelers? And there's just been games where there's no separation. He's a non-factor. He's a ghost.
Nick Howard, why is that so true? Nick Howard, I hate that that's so true.
Well, they're looking like Dede and Corey Davis?
I hate that that's so right. That's so right.
And so not only like you said though, so not only is it's shown that like he's struggling with that number one corner, like you said, you add into that equation the fact that it's not Big Ben throwing him the ball, and it's not Big Ben trying to get him open and trying to lead him into area. You know what I mean? You lose Big Ben, you lose a QBIQ guy like Big Ben, and you insert Rudolph. That downs his. Now you're looking at, instead of like Ben being able to help him on the field and kind of guide him on the field, into kind of, guide him when it comes to like playing in the zone defenses. You're talking to Mason Rudolph instead in the huddle, and that's only going to down his game.
Also, Juju Smith has not been able to find soft spots in zones. That's something we see out of top tier receivers. And when he's going up against zone coverage and somebody's not manning him up and pressing him, he's not finding that soft spot. Antonio Brown does this very well. Larry Fitzgerald does it very well. You see most tight ends, especially Jason Witten. While they're not the fastest guys, excluding Antonio Brown, two guys I just mentioned, Larry Fitzgerald and Jason Witten, all-time leaders in receiving. Both of them are up there, and they both aren't fast. They both are smart players. And Juju Smith-Schuster is kind of in the same build of Larry Fitzgerald. That's 6'1", 6'2" receiver. That's a little bit slower, but still has some speed. For anybody that's younger here, Larry Fitzgerald used to be a fairly fast receiver. He's kind of lost his wheels as he's 36 now. But yeah, I mean they're very similar builds, but Juju just needs to get smarter.
But it's like that's one of those, like you said, like finding the zone, finding that soft area in a zone. That's not route like that. You can't teach somebody that. That's just that's just having football IQ and being a good receiver. Like I mean, you can only coach that up to a certain point. If you know what I mean, if you don't know how to run, if you don't know how to like sit in a zone, find a spot in the, it's just, there's coaching can only take that so far. As a good receiver, you need to know, you need to be able to know that yourself. Like coaching when it comes to that can only get you so far.
All right. To wrap it up on these Steelers, they need to show some life on offense. They need to show some life on offense severely. James Conner needs to get the ball a little bit more often. That defense is still look good. They look pretty stout. Mike Hilton. I need to bring this up real quick. Mike Hilton is the best slot corner in the league. I believe he's number 20. You know what I'm talking about? He had the game-sealing pick.
Yes.
Against the Chargers.
Against the Chargers. He can't. Yep.
I understand that was an awful ball, and he just made a pretty simple play on it. But he's played amazing all season. He's pretty much a safety. In all honesty, that's what he played in college. He's a safety converted to a corner. So he's playing a lot of slot, but he's developed the ability to play outside.
Fitzpatrick's fit well there too.
Minka, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. He's fit well there too.
Was there any question? He was a great player on a bad team. He was a first-round pick for a reason.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm just saying he's fit. They inserted him right. As soon as he got there, you could tell the chemistry was there, and he fit right in.
Yeah,
and if they get a solid corner to go with him, that Pittsburgh D is already.
They have Joe Hayden. They need to get a second. They need to get a second.
That's what I'm saying. They need another corner to put.
Because Artie Burns, more like Artie gets burned. That man lets up more deep plays down the field than any other player in the league.
But how many times this year have you seen the Steelers secondary get toasted, just straight up dusted?
It's not that secondary; it's Artie get burned.
So they need if you put Fitzpatrick in and then you get a solid corner to go on the opposite side of Hayden, they'll be looking all right. That defense they'll be looking good.
Yeah, that defense does look pretty good.
All right, man. But so we've gone through a couple guys. I hope we hit on you guys' team. But that's
Did you guys hit the Browns for Nick Howard?
We did. We did do the Browns for Nick Howard.
We're not talking about the Raiders though. Can't even no.
They got more issues than we can run through.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So that's basically this is what we just a couple of things that we've learned through the first 7 weeks of the season. What do you think going forward, J Love? Do you think one of these teams, one of these dark horse teams, is gonna emerge? Or before we head out of here, who do you think? What do you got for a dark horse team that might come out of the woodworks at the end of the season?
Dark horse. Early on in the season, it was the San Francisco 49ers because I said that they could make a playoff push in the for the wild card, and you guys called me crazy. I said that on Run Boys After Dark. I did call that, and they're undefeated right now. But I'm gonna go with the Colts.
Oh, you took my damn take.
There's not any other dark horse teams.
Yeah.
Everybody that is a dark horse is like 2-5, and you're like, I'm not taking a 2-5, 2-16.
Yeah.
And the only other team that I've seen some people say is a dark horse team, I've seen some people say the Cardinals, but I don't believe that. I don't think they can make a push for a playoff spot. I think that they're going to finish around 500 and be very happy that they're seeing some progression.
They're not there yet, but they're definitely on the upswing.
But no, I'm going to go with the Colts. And Jacoby Brissett has looked like a very above average game manager. He hasn't looked bad at all. Been a little a little worrying with his placement on a couple balls. He's a little big play happy in a sense, to where he tries to make that deep shot and it's kind of iffy, and whether it's not a turnover or a huge play for the offense. But Marlon Mack's looked good for them. While he has been amazing one game, shut down 2 games, amazing another. He's very inconsistent.
Yeah.
T.Y. Hilton's been amazing. Eric Ebron's finally starting to go show up again as one of the top tight ends, as he was last year. And that defense with Darius Leonard back has been pretty good. I can see them in the AFC where that wild card's going to be pretty open, aside from where I think the Bills are going to land.
Yeah.
They're going to get one of them with a very easy schedule. I think that the Colts or the Titans is going to get one of those other spots. I would love to say the Chargers here, but I can't see them making that big of a swing.
Now, my take's going to go highly, highly on how this team goes the rest of the way, and if they can keep up the current momentum that they have. I do think that they're going to get clipped in the either the wild card or the divisional, but I do think they'll make the playoffs this year. I'm going with the Buffalo Bills. Just going with their remaining schedule.
I can't call them a dark horse, though.
But do you really believe? Like, think about this. No, everybody wrote that. Like, people are writing them off. I think they're gonna. I think the Bills will make the playoffs. I think they'll make the playoffs as a wild card.
Pick another one. That's not a dark horse.
All right, I'll go. How about the Panthers? We can go.
That's a dark horse. I'll give you that. That's a dark horse.
The Panthers then. The Panthers have looked real well. Have looked strong without Cam Newton. That Allen kid has proven that he can play well under pressure. He's
Chris Lee. Come here, kitty. Smash. That's what's gonna happen. In all honesty, I said that early on in the stream. Nick Bosa is gonna eat against an awful offensive line.
They might. Chris. So Chris Lee. Hey, Chris, how you doing, man? Welcome to the stream. And yes, we talked about the Niners earlier. That the front seven for San Fran's gonna feast this weekend, and the Niners should beat the Panthers. If the Panthers beat the Niners, that's insane.
I said, I'd lose my mind.
If the Panthers for this one's for Chris, if the Panthers do beat the Niners, if they do beat the Niners, which is probably more than likely, highly unlikely going to happen, then the Panthers should immediately trade Cam Newton and just go with Kyle Allen.
What's your upset of this week?
My upset of this week?
Yep.
Bills are beating the Eagles.
I wouldn't call that an upset because the Eagles have looked awful.
Bills are beating the Eagles.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm going to go with my Cardinals beating the Saints.
Wow, your Cardinals going to beat the Saints.
I think that they have a chance with, I think, Kamara sitting out and David Johnson sitting out. I think Latavius Murray's going to struggle with Chandler Jones being able to get back there. T. Sizzle's been playing well. That defensive line's actually been better the past few weeks.
I was
And
just going to say that the Cardinals D line though they can get after it.
Michael Thomas is their really only receiving threat. Jared Cook is not playing. That was confirmed today. So no worrying about a tight end cooking us anymore.
Chris
Oh my
Lee says
God.
thank for Bosa was a success.
Why they got to do me like that? We should have taken Bosa. I'm happy with Kyler. But again, you guys know I wanted Bosa or Quinnen.
So Pat says some team is beating New England this year. They will not go undefeated.
Yeah, it's going to be the Texans.
No, the one loss that the
You're going to say it's the Ravens.
No, the one loss the Patriots are going to
The
take.
Dolphins.
There's two teams. And
One of them is the Dolphins.
We'll end it on this. All right. This is how we're going to go out of this stream. All right.
One of them. He's going to say the Dolphins. They're going to go 15-0 rest, and he's going to say the Dolphins are going to win their only game.
There's only two teams where I think they could get clipped. One would be the Ravens when they go into Baltimore and they underestimate them, and Lamar Jackson punches them in the mouth and beats them that way. They underestimate how fast Lamar Jackson is, and then they just sleep on him. And the Ravens would beat them that way. Or they're 15-0.
There he goes.
They go to Miami and they stick Jared Stidham in there and say, "Go ahead, kid."
Jared Stidham would probably still beat that awful Dolphins team.
Those are the only two teams that stand a chance. We're going to, Pat 1984, we're going to whoop the Cowboys' ass when y'all come in here. So have fun with the Clapper. We're going to welcome the Clapper to Foxborough with open arms and then squash his ass 37-10. And then the Baker Mayfield's coming in this weekend. He's going down probably 35 to 6 or 10.
Bobby's drunk on 3 p.m. on a Friday.
So
oh, I love that.
All right, guys.
I love that.
Thanks for tuning in. This was a lot of fun. Just kind of running down what we've noticed and what some predictions going forward on a couple of these teams. J-Love, that would definitely be an upset of the week, though, if the Cardinals manage to go down. Because
we like high scoring games.
Here's a question for you. One last thing before we get out of here: is it a home game for Arizona?
Yes.
So
no. Wait, let me check. I believe it is. It is home. It is in Arizona.
So that might be a trap game for the Saints there.
Okay, never mind. Apparently the site I just looked at was wrong. It is in New Orleans.
It's in New Orleans.
Sorry. I was like, Arizona. I looked it up earlier, and it said versus New Orleans instead of at. Right. But it's at New Orleans.
So, because if you guys go down to New Orleans and beat them in the Superdome, that's saying something.
Right. Kyler Murray will be Kyler Murray.
Yeah. All right, guys. But thanks for tuning in. J-Love, I'm sure you got homework or some shit to go do.
No, I don't, bro. It's the end of the quarter. I got a free weekend finally.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Y'all have a good one, and we're going to get some good games this weekend. J-Love, final words before we leave.
I don't really have any right now. Runboys.com for some articles. That's about it.
All right. Check it out, guys. Runboys.com. J-Love going to be dropping fire on there. And I will see you guys on Sunday for the NFL and Patriots.
Oh, Runboys After Dark tonight.
And Runboys After Dark, 9 o'clock tonight. Be there. We outie. Peace.
All right.